Welcome to Baker's channel where stories unfold, covering trials, dramas untold. Grab your seat, settle in, start the show. Courtroom clashes, the fun we bestow. Baker's channel, action's hot, dramas and fun, all we got. Discuss, debate, break it down. Baker's channel, just the best in town. Lawyers spar, tensions high, sparks fly. We laugh, we learn, dive into the why. Join the chat, have your say, it's your place too. Every twist, we're here for you. Baker's channel, action's hot, draws and fun, all we got. Discuss, debate, break it down. Baker's channel, just the best in town. Damn, please like join the crowd. Baker's channel, we're live and loud.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are, whoever you are. What, if any, you might be. Hello, Jamie.
Morning. Well,
No.
afternoon, I guess.
Afternoon. And from it's evening because it's 6:30 almost. I am in your sublist 3 times. That's because I put it up for 3 days, so I didn't have to think about it. Hey, Skybell, not much. And Reindeer, how you? And Jesse. Are we on that 1 hour delay or? Yes, we are on that 1 hour delay because the reason why we didn't start at 11:30 is the judge apparently didn't want live coverage from court. So he made the feed go out with an hour's delay, which means this will end really late my time. Probably if it takes 8 hours from now on, that'll be two a.m. my time. And I have a car I have to turn in tomorrow to get it serviced. So we'll go till lunch today, and then we'll start the afternoon in the morning tomorrow, so we don't have to waste an entire day. I've been looking at the most... Jamie, don't let me on YouTube.
Okay. What's going on?
Well, I just look at the most... I've been... I'm really brushing up on my Caitlin Clark knowledge.
I don't know who that is.
That's the Larry Bird of the WNBA.
Okay.
She's a rookie who's apparently good. I don't know. I got it, and I just hit, and it started going. Hey, Helen from Holland. And Phoenix, thank you for being a member for 5 months. And Ginger with a soul, hello. We are not late. Court is late because it's on an hour delay. Hey, Kim. And Julie from Central Florida. It's all good. Hey. DK Kroll. I don't know. Is it insensitive to be a Danish cripple? Because DK is how we... That's short for Denmark.
Is it
Talking about being short. Hey, Panella.
Oh.
And Dizzy Grenade. And Anya. How's she doing? Who? Caitlin Clark? She is shattering every record, and apparently they hate her. I don't know why. I think she looks a lot like Larry Bird. Let's be honest. I never watched a second of WNBA before today. So I think she's pretty good. She can... I like her passing style. I like her three-point shots. I don't know why they hate her, but apparently they do. She gets body checked all the time. If that happened in football, there would be a fight. Go Hawks. She was an Iowa University student. Oh, so Jamie hates her.
I don't have any animosity towards Iowa.
Oh.
It's Ohio.
Oh, it's Ohio you hate.
Yeah.
That's close by. Hey everyone, I missed the lives lately, been on Replay Clue. Thank you for stopping in today. And as I said earlier, because this is starting really late because of the Utah time zone, I'll cut out at lunch because I have to get up at 6 in the morning and take my car to the garage. So we'll do the afternoon in the morning tomorrow, just so everyone gets good and confused.
Yep.
Hey, Kim. Wendy is watching from near Green Bay, Wisconsin. That's the home of the Packers.
Are you visiting?
Jamie hates the Packers.
I do hate the Packers.
Thank you for being a member for 5 months. I think they're all jealous of her. Sorry?
Is it
What?
Wendy visiting Solomon?
Solomon. What?
Anderson.
I don't know. Your audio is really low.
I was talking low, sorry. I said, is she over there
I don't know.
visiting the Andersons?
Oh, I don't know if she's visiting the Andersons. No, make cripple acceptable again. I get Donkey Kong growing up. Well, that's it's okay. I am working tomorrow. Mel Panella, I was only thinking about you when I decided to do it, not my sleep. Go, Pack, go. Hey now, you're a rock star. Get your game on. Go play. Minnesota hates the Packers too.
Yep.
Hey, Lorelei. And Peter. Oh, my audio. That's real bad. Why isn't it live yet? Peter probably likes New England Patriots.
I wonder. I'm not a fan of them either.
We don't like the Patriots. We like the New York Giants. Hey, Debbie. It's tough. Hey, Donkey Kong. Peter hates football. Yeah, well, we were talking hand egg. You know, the throwing sport that Americans misnamed. Red Sox fan.
No. Oh, baseball.
I like the Mets, not because I've ever seen them, but because my brother got me a Mets hat in 85 or 86, a few years before I was born. And since then, I've been a Mets fan. The only other team I think I know is the Yankees and the Indians, because I saw that movie. Wild Thing. Meow, meow. That was a good movie. Wendy asked, Jamie, why do you hate the Packers? Cheeseheads are very friendly people.
Hey, it's your football team. It's not you guys.
Yeah. Jamie, why are you a hater?
I am. I'm just a hater.
Let's just agree, none of us likes the Patriots.
I can agree to that.
And the Dallas Cowboys.
I can agree to that also.
And then Iris will come in here and say the Dallas Cowboys are the best in the world.
Just for her.
Sue, I can't pull that one up. Eagles here, but I'm a diehard hockey gal. Hockey, a sport I don't understand. I've heard it's amazing to go. We have a team in the big city on my island. and it should be amazing going in there. You can get really, really, really drunk, and maybe get in a fight if you want to. But I don't understand hockey. Regular football season have started in Denmark. My team is top of the league and unbeaten this year. Only good football game is Army versus Navy game. The Flyers. The you have to. I don't know where the Flyers come from. Oh, do I? Oh, they have a. I believe I've seen a cap with their logo on it. And yes, I do have it running. So whenever it comes on, but nothing's on yet. I don't know why. Hey, Sully from Boston. She's a Celtics fan. Okay.
Mhm.
I love popping into a stream to hear Baker sing a 20-year-old song. Well, it's because I was born around the same time. Can't agree on the Patriots. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Deflategate. Hey, RJ. And Sean Birdie. Squawk, squawk. What second movie did you watch yesterday?
Oh my God. I don't know where this movie came from. It was ridiculous. It was called Tammy and the T-Rex.
That's one of the worst movies in all of it. The special effects are so bad in that movie. It's amazing.
I don't even know how to explain it.
Well, it's a guy who somehow gets turned into a T-Rex, and it's
Yeah.
in a really, really bad rubber suit.
Well, it's got Denise Richards and Paul Walker in it, which was
Yeah,
surprising.
I think their first movie.
Who knows?
It's so bad it's good.
It
Philadelphia
was.
Flyers. Oh,
I
that's
had a
it.
good laugh.
Hey, Mom of 10. And it started raining again. A Bruins fan. Scott says court is late and hasn't started yet. Says judge required an hour delay is the streaming. So besides that 1 hour delay, they haven't even started in court yet. So we will
Oh,
be
jeez.
another hour. If that's then we're gonna speed run it tomorrow. I'm not gonna sit here for 2 hours waiting for nothing. Jesus. Hey, Christine.
Oh
Didn't
my
the court
God.
order said audio will be allowed to be released an hour after the hearing? I again, I have Law and Crime looks like they are having a feed from there. I believe that a recovery addict is in the courtroom as well and is having the pool feed. So there should be one, but hey, Josie, can you work on your magic? Pat sucks since Brady left. He was the only reason they were even a team. Squawk, squawk. What is that? That's me talking to Sean Bird. The Seahawks will win the division this season.
Oh, will they?
Triceratops and buttons.
Yeah. Jesus.
You should check out a movie called Rubber. It's about a tire in a desert that is alive and rolls around doing stuff using telepathy.
Okay, I want to see that now.
That's going to be second movie at movie night at some point. I went a lot when I was younger and to the Phantoms game. Someone is doing text to speak, I think. According to Scott, aka Recovery Addict, who is recording it in court today. Thank you. I've been following him for more than a year. I didn't know his name was Scott. But it's the same. Jamie doesn't know my real name is Bartholomew. So she just thinks it's Baker.
Mm-hmm. Bartholomew.
The stroke and the new phone don't mix. Well, we'll figure it out at some point. I'm dyslexic, so I'll guess anyway. Did anyone see Basket Case? Twin brothers where one is carried in a basket. Total train wreck. No.
Oh my God.
The movie Robber enrages Sean Bird.
Why? Now I really want to see it.
Bart the Baker. Well, I go by Bartholomew. No, it's my last name. I'm Emily D. Baker's brother. We just keep it on the lowdown.
Mm-hmm.
True stories. Almost. I'm just reading to see if there's any updates over there. Nothing. I've seen Basket Case. I see people dressing up as the twins a lot of cons. Seems weird. You are our B. You have to sit here and entertain us. I don't have to, but now we're here. Jamie, did you see what I have been doing today?
No. What have you been doing?
Never mind, Jamie. Nothing.
I haven't been on YouTube today. This is my first.
I put it on Twitch, and everywhere.
Oh, well, I haven't been on Twitter either.
I have been working on this.
Hold on.
Then she left. Jeepers. Well, it's not easy to work with Jamie because when you try to tell her something, she just leaves. That's Jamie in a nutshell for you. Hold on. Bye-bye. Hey, Beth. How you doing? Actually, someone was asking once if we were related. Hey, Jamie. Are you back?
I couldn't hear anything. I can hear you now, though.
Okay. This is what I have been working on all day. No, do it.
Oh, you bought a bunch of candy?
I have been backing up candy. So now there are five bags of candy for the giveaway. It's going to cost me an arm and a leg to send it because those oh, you can't see that. Can you see it if I do this? Those Milky Way bars, those are 200 grams, I believe. So it's going to be quite expensive to send all of this. But look at all the goodies we have for a giveaway. Of course, the Yankee bar, a lot of spunk, some gold bars, some turtle bars, some marzipan bread, some
all the good stuff.
gold droppings, some French nougat. What else do we have here? Oh, we have the marzipan bread with the taste of Bailey's. Do you know what Bailey's is?
No.
It's like a creamy chocolatey liqueur. that you drink with your coffee. In Denmark,
Oh,
we call it butt juice.
I didn't know it was the same thing. What do you call it?
Butt juice.
Why?
It's from a movie. Down here, we have the foam banana. What else do we have? We have the scrapyard, pea tarts, the Facer mint. I think you would like this. Dark chocolate with a filling of mint cream. Oh, the Dummler, if you need to get some of your cavities checked. This will rip your fillings out in a heartbeat.
Oh, great.
Yeah, just don't chew into it.
What do you do with it then?
Well, nope.
What?
Well, you don't chew it with your. Oh, wrong screen. This screen. Oh. And the wrong screen again. This screen. I'm really working hard today.
You are.
I like eye candy, not candy. Well, you don't have to participate to win the giveaway then. You should bring a series of random American viewers to incorrectly pronounce all of those candy names.
Yeah, exactly.
I work with Jamie. I know. Jamie, what's this
Mm.
called?
What one?
This one.
The what is it? Skippa paddle.
I love that you just put
Skill.
extra.
Skill. There we go. Well,
Let me just chuck in a P that's not even there. It's
it's
skill.
there. It's just not in the right spot.
I don't know. Are you dyslexic as I am? So you just make up words when you can't figure out what's going on?
Yeah,
Just,
because like
there must be a P there. No, there's no P there. Yeah, there's clearly a P there.
there is. It's right there. It's about 3 spots down.
How will you
Yeah,
be symmetrical?
when I see these like words like that, yeah, I kind of just wing it.
Yeah. Well, you can pronounce this one.
Which one? Oh, your little cursor, I can barely see it. Yankee. Yeah, that one's easy.
And this one. I probably can't see it.
No, I can't see that.
Your screen isn't big enough.
No.
That's just a whole lot of spunk. I'll be nice for 30 days if you send me chocolate that doesn't have licorice in it. Jamie, did you like licorice when you got your candy?
I like licorice, but I don't
Yeah.
like black licorice usually. And theirs is just caked in salt. And yeah, I was not a fan of it when I first tried it, but it really grew on me, guys. It was pretty good. And I
But
was really sad when
no,
that bag went empty.
I don't think there's any chocolate with licorice in it. Well, let me check.
Licorice chocolate? That doesn't really sound that great. Especially because everything is black licorice over there, I swear.
What's this one called, Jamie?
Peter Tur?
There's nothing between the P and the T. You
Yeah.
can't put.
That's what I'm calling it. Peter
It's pea tatter.
Peter. Oh,
Pea torts.
P-torts.
Yeah, pea tatter. But that's a chocolate
You
cover.
said it 3 different ways.
No, I said it in English and Danish. It's chocolate covered French nougat with peanuts. No licorice in that one.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Your good old friend.
Skip-a-daddle.
I just told you skildpadde. This is a chocolate cover. It's a chocolate bar with rum cream and caramel. No licorice in that one.
Milka.
Milka. It's German. Strawberry filling in chocolate.
About that. Gold bear.
Gold bar.
Gold
It's like a gold bar of gold. This is with salt caramel. No licorice.
Ooh, yum.
Then we have licorice hard candy. The caramel
devil.
on a stick. No licorice,
Yankee.
which is a Milky Way bar.
Scumbana.
Skumbanan.
Okay.
That's a banana flavored, like marshmallow filling.
Ooh. Phaser mint.
Phaser mint. Mint covered in chocolate. No licorice in that either. And then this is too small. You can't see. That's a marzipan
Back
bread.
up. Oh, yeah.
Marzipan bread. It's a marzipan bread. No licorice.
It's a little marzipan bread?
Yeah. And the big
Yes, it
marzipan
is.
bread with Bailey's. No licorice.
Frank's.
Fransk.
It's a
It
French
means
name.
French nougat.
I like Frank's.
The only thing licorice without, other than the hard candy, is this, which is a licorice toffee. And
I think
of
I got
course,
one of those. This is pretty good.
yeah, they're sweet. And then you have the licorice salty spunk or the fruity spunk. So no chocolate with any licorice. This is safe for you to play with, Marissa. Actually, I should get more licorice, but it's already a filled bag.
It's gonna be
Is Denmark chocolate the same as other European countries? More or less. It depends on what brand you get. I like the gold bars, but I also really like Milka because that's a little more creamy. Bailey's Irish cream, yes. I think I understand what others meant. Court feed will be on a 1-hour delay, but court itself hasn't started yet as of around 12:15 Eastern Standard Time. Jip, jip, jip. We are gonna be so late. I'll take the marzipan with Bailey's. I don't understand the marzipan thing. My kids dig it. Maybe I better give it another chew. Well, it's kind of like a lot of people don't understand why I love Dr. Pepper because it has the same flavor, that sweet cherry-like flavor. It's weird because it's an almond snack, but it's almond or marzipan is really big in Denmark. I just went down a new rabbit hole. It seems fresh. Hello. Hello. I think I'm back. StreamYard just decided it didn't want to work anymore. So, but it has had a few problems the last couple of days where it had a lot of problems uploading. But je suis arrive. We were talking French nougat. Will not be live streamed by order of the judge reported by Recovery Addict. Yes, we knew that it would be on a 1 hour delay, but apparently, according to Jess, the court haven't even started yet. And that means this is gonna drag out for forever, because if they haven't started yet, and we then have to wait an hour until the feed goes live, I think I'll just speed run it in the morning. Hey, Jamie, sorry my internet crapped out. Jamie,
Yeah, I froze completely. I was like, what the heck?
yeah,
And then
but
I
it's
got food.
down. So everything else is working fine, but StreamYard just. Jamie got the blue kick. It's salty. Yeah, I don't like blue kick. Hey, Lefty. Talking
I
about
thought
don't
it
like.
was.
I think there was any reason given other than he just didn't want a live feed from court. That's what I read. If you like the
Well,
you like marzipan.
that's fine, but start on time at least.
You don't. You need to bring back the vanilla chocolate. Don't get the. Well, that's for my 3-year anniversary. If we ever get to those 12,000, maybe I'll buy some vanilla chocolate. Semla is the best Swedish pastry. Well, that's like saying lukewarm. No, don't say that. Kathy Russo tweeted that it will still be on delay, but the court is more than an hour late. Sadly, she has me blocked, and I don't know why. Almond pasty equals Semla. It's marzipan. Yes, I'm breaking up. Yes. Oh, yes. Baker bad. Happens in blue screen happens in 2 other chats live earlier today too. There was a name for this. Someone said it. Forgot what it. Something with StreamYard. Yeah, StreamYard is. I was trying to upload a video directly from StreamYard yesterday. Normally, I'll download it and then upload it to YouTube. The Kouri Richins update I did yesterday, and it took like an hour to upload it. Normally, I can do it in 5 minutes.
Really?
Danish sounds weird. That's racist. Gracias. Swedish sounds like German on acid to you. No, German is a language only made for commanding large army movements. Ich lieb dich is not what you want to hear if you're a lady.
What does that mean?
I love you. Well, technically it would be Ich liebe dich. That doesn't sound like something that could turn on Moist O'Clock.
No.
Du bist so schön. You're so
Very
lovely.
aggressive.
Yeah, that's why it works really well on battlefields, not in the bed. No one ever told you about a great German lover. That's more the French and the Italians with their prego, prego, bonjour, mon cher. That works much better. A few creators have had issues. One of them had their membership paused without telling them. Yeah, I don't know. But I don't have any alternatives, so hopefully it doesn't matter. Hey, Susan M.
Yeah.
I love Swedish sour candy. I'm not Swedish. The rotten fish are quite sour. I can
Rotten
sing the
fish.
entire Lion King soundtrack in Swedish, though. But why would you? It's way better to do it in Danish. Jeg kan se det komme. What? Det vil de ikke tro. Hvad? De bliver et par, og resultatet er, vores trio bliver til 2. Dog. Der er romantik i luften, og overalt. Ma, 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 ma. Kan du se dit liv bliver fyldt med... Can't remember it. Much better in Danish. In Swedish, it would
Yeah.
be Hopla habla hopla jättehojlo. Hopla hojle hop.
Wow. That was
That's
phenomenal.
Swedish. Haven't you seen the Swedish Chef? Well, I won't go to bed right now. It's 7 o'clock, but it's just if I have to wait, if court starts in an hour, then it's 8 o'clock, and then we have to wait an hour for the feed to come in. That's 9 o'clock, and then we have
Yeah.
to. So, and I was banking on leaving when they go to lunch because I have that car I need to get serviced tomorrow, and then we can just start in the morning and go all day.
I feel like we might have to start it. You're just, yeah, probably gonna have to start today's tomorrow.
Well, it's what time there? It's 11 o'clock.
1:02. Oh, there. It's 12.
It's 11
11:02.
o'clock. So
Wait.
yeah, because it's 1 o'clock your time.
Yeah. God, no,
So it's
I'm
11 o'clock
confused.
Utah time.
Yeah. They're 2 hours behind us.
Yeah. So maybe they will wait till after lunch, and then if they do that, maybe they'll say, okay, let's start at 1 o'clock, which would be 3 o'clock your time, which would then an hour delay. Then it wouldn't start until 4.
Mhm.
I love marzipan and think we're weird in the US to not adore all things almond. Yeah, I love it too. It's great, especially when you use it to bake with. You love Rammstein. It's great. I had Rammstein had a few concerts in Denmark this year, and every friend I had who went to see it, all they had was just miles of audience and then a few pictures of all their pyrotechnics. I just had
Really?
my shrink appointment, and he's hot. Susan M. Not that I have any personal experience with it, but I've seen a few movies. Never fall in love with the shrink. She's normally cray. Just imagine what's the one with Michael Douglas and Cheryl Stone. I think she was a shrink too. Fatal Desire, I believe. The one with the muff shot.
Mm,
Jeg elsker dig isn't much better than Ich liebe dich. Well, it sounds better when you say Jeg elsker dig.
What are you saying?
I love you.
Oh.
That's what all women says to me when I tell them that. Oh, but
It doesn't sound like
you still have that
it.
restraining order, so please stay away from me.
Oh,
But I
okay.
love you. Yeah,
Thank
get away.
you.
Yeah, ditto. As a German lady, I agree completely. Only battles, not love. I grew up in an area that was mostly German immigrants. My dad was fluent and loved listening in on old German couples' arguments. That's the benefit of coming from a small country where you need to learn a lot of languages. Whenever you're traveling, you can just sit there and look very, very Nordic, and people think, he doesn't understand anything. So let me talk about him at the cafe. That's especially us Danish. We don't believe anyone else speaks Danish. So sometimes you'll hear some funny conversations at bars or restaurants around the world. Like lutefisk, what kind of rotten fish are you talking? No, it's a candy called rotten fish. We don't. This is crazy. Fermented fish is Swedish. That's why that country is the way it is. I don't know what it is. Yeah, but better. That's actually one of my biggest problems with communicating with English people. Especially you Americans, you have a way where you don't say things that you mean. You have to go the long way around all the time.
What do you mean?
If someone tells you, go do it now, your fifis
Okay.
get hurt. Instead of just saying, oh, he wants me to do it now, he could have said it in a better way. No, do it now. We'll talk later. Apparently, it's a Danish directness, and Germany is very efficient, so they do it too. My sister gets told this all the time down in Switzerland. You're very Danish, because it comes off like we don't like you, but it's just I don't want to explain it to you 5 times. So if I say find this information now, it's not because I'm yelling at you. It's just I need it now. But you could have asked me nicely, or you could have found it in the time it took you to write that reply and complain about me asking you not nicely.
Oh, I feel attacked.
It does sound like love my junk. What? Only Nina could make German sound hot. 99 Luftballons unterm Weg zum Horizont. You know that song, Jamie?
Mm-hmm. Sing it again.
99 Luftballons unterm Weg zum Horizont.
What does that mean? Translate.
99 balloons on their way to the horizon.
Aw.
You never heard that? I can't play it. It's a good song. I remember we had to translate it when I had German in the 6th grade. I didn't know that Düsenflieger is a jet plane. Doesn't sound like a jet plane.
No.
In Denmark, we call them a jetjager, which is a jet hunter. That sounds cool. I know the wrong Americans. Everyone except Nanya. No. Is there at all a way for Baker to refer to us other than you Americans? Well, it's just to make sure that Helen from Holland and Pernilla from Sweden knows it's not them.
Hmm.
And it's not said with anything other than love. You Americans.
Of course.
I was asking the expert yesterday if he knows about places I could rent to move to Knoxville. Love you
Mm-hmm.
so much.
Yeah. Sure.
I did. I took German classes in college, but I don't remember much. There's 3 ways to say the word the. Yeah, feminine, masculine, and neutral. Die, der, das, den. Die, der, das, den. I can't. That's my problem because I don't do grammar, and you have to first of all have to find out what's the gender of the word, and then you have to find out which word you have to put in front of it, and it's really, really annoying. Yeah, you would have loved it here, but it's because we don't want to talk to you, so we just tell you, do it now. 99 Red Balloons is the song, Jamie.
Hmm.
Sounds like you're all around the wrong Americans. There are over 300 millions of us. Well, I've met a few, but yet again, too few to mention. That's that's a song, Jamie. If Backstreet Boys didn't sing it, Jamie doesn't know it.
That's very true.
Just joined the chat. I'm short but cute. Well, that's we know another short person. He's not that cute.
Who are you,
You can call me
on?
Hey Blondie or You American. It's all the same. Go me. Oh, a lot of people call me worse than American. Dem der den des is I believe it's Dem der den des is the last of them. Go on again about how you hate America, the most powerful country in the world. I'd never said I hated America. I said I hated your sensitivity. Probably that's why it takes you so long to do anything about everything.
There are a lot of sensitive people, I will say.
There's a lot of fifis that
There's
is
a lot of fifis getting hurt every day.
so yeah. At first, we were to be on an hour lag. Now, judge is deciding if he will only allow reporting on coverage from those seated through note taking, or allow coverage for full trial released at end of day.
Oh boy. Why didn't you figure this out before the day of?
I set the
Come
Snoop
on.
Queens out there. Marissa, what did
No,
she
no,
do?
no.
I'm gonna fly to Seattle and stay in the king's room. And Jesse, she was, oh, he called me Jody once, so he haven't sent me a 4-page letter excusing himself. And he didn't like the Patriots. I'm gonna go on a strike. What did I just say about Fifi's?
No, this judge, like, figure this out
Oh,
before the
well,
day
yeah.
of.
Oh, I didn't mean what Marissa and Josie did such a great work.
I wasn't talking about them. I was talking about the judge.
I'm gonna be in hell for this one. Ich bin du bist er sie es ist. Wir sind sie sind. Wir sind sie sind. I can't remember it. We had to do all of these things when I had German because it's just annoying to do grammar in German. So ich bin du bist er sie es ist. Wir sind sie seid sie and I can't remember sie sind. Sie ich bin du bist er sie es ist. Wir sind sie seid sie sind, something like that, because Germany is a weird country with an even weirder language. And then you had Ich bin du bist er sie es ist. Wir sind sie seid sie. No, how is it? There was a lot of things you had to learn. I love Backstreet Boys, and I'm not ashamed to admit it. Backstreet Boys is good.
Good job.
I just aged myself
Be proud.
there.
Be proud.
I'm 27. One has to understand Baker's last experience with America was Tennessee. I really like Tennessee. I wish I had been there longer. The next time I go over there, maybe I'll try and get there for 2 weeks so I can go up and see Jamie. But I would say of the places I've visited, but again, it has to do with company. Delaware and Tennessee is the places I liked the best. I take as long as I want.
They're nice areas. I like the Northeast,
Americans
like
being sensitive
Midwest.
about being called sensitive.
You know it.
You didn't sleep in the Elvis bed? Why not? I'm gonna go to Seattle just to sleep in that bed. Why is being under 6 foot considered less favorable in the US for men? Don't ask
Who
me.
said
I apparently I thought I was 5'10", and Valhalla started yelling at me and called me 6 foot because we're the same height. Marissa will no longer fetch me documents. Josie will go on strike.
Uh-oh.
Well, please no chat will suffer. Yeah. Good thing that Discord isn't going. To sound cooler, I love Heilung and Sigurd Ros. I have a very varied musical taste. Heilung. That sounds like something they did in the 40s. Oscars, Wisconsin says, "Go Pack." Well, you have to fight with Jamie over that one. I don't discriminate. I hate every team except the Giants, so you can't complain about me. Doesn't look like anything is happening. I don't know what to
They're
do.
still trying to debate on whether he's even going to put it out today or tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like,
That's really, really weird.
well, it's really annoying you wouldn't get that settled before the day of.
Yeah. So this works out because I have to go do work stuff. It's 10 a.m. now.
Oh, I was like, wait a second, but she's in Seattle. I'm
The
like,
Kouri addict
"No,
just
she's
tweeted
not."
status.
Did he say anything new or what was just said in chat a little bit ago?
That's the worst part about Twit not showing. Kouri Richins will not be handcuffed for this hearing after a long delay. The hearing should start in 5 minutes. Judge has ordered media to have a 1-hour delay.
So it's still going to be another hour.
So it's going to be an hour before it starts. I had 3 German teachers, and I spoke better than 2 of them, which got me in trouble a few times. Yes, Paul O'Keefe is suing Karen Reed for wrongful death along with the 2 bars. So
How can he do anything until she's...
because there's way lower standard,
I know, but it's just so...
it gotta get that money.
Yeah. Well, of
But
course.
if he sues her because he claims she was drunk and they overserved, wouldn't they have to come and then show how accurate that blood alcohol test was?
Well, I have to prove those sort of things. Like,
Yeah.
I know it's a lower standard in the civil aspect, but still, nothing was ever proven.
But
Maybe they
yeah,
can try to prove it in
let's
civil court. I don't
let's see what he's saying. Plaintiff is the surviving brother, is personal representative of the estate. Blah blah blah. Nothing there. I don't have the full order. I just have what Aiden put up there. Notwithstanding her Fifth Amendment right not to speak, defendant Reed chose to speak publicly. She knowingly and deliberately changed her story and fabricated a conspiracy, knowing the same to be false. She publicly communicated this false narrative, thereby frustrating justice for JJ. Such false narratives caused the plaintiff's aggravated emotional distress. The plaintiff listed above brings this compliance seeking full and complete justice for JJ. What a... Amy, I can't say stuff like that. So this a-hole is... I know we shouldn't. We should... He's a grieving brother and all that. But bro, the way he acted in that interview we did, and now he's coming out here claiming she did a complete and blah 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 fabrication. It's yep, sep. That's
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of him.
no, he seems like a massive douche canoe. Thank
heard
you.
what he had to say, so
Let's look at this. The plaintiff, John O'Keefe, 2, is the surviving father of John O'Keefe and Kristen. The plaintiff, Margaret O'Keefe, is the surviving mother. The plaintiff, Kaylee, is the surviving niece. At relevant times, the defendant, CNC Hospitality, LLC, DBA, CF McCarthy's, is an independently owned restaurant with a usual place of business, blah, blah, blah. Doesn't matter. The defendant, Waterfall Bar and Grill, is a domestic corporation at this and this place. The defendant, Kouri Richins, is an individual residing on 481 Gilbert Street. Plaintiff repeats, reallegates, and incorporates by reference as set forth hereto in their entirety all prior paragraphs to the complaint. The descendant, JJ, was the middle of 3 children in a tight-knit family. JJ was a third-generation Boston police officer. After the tragic death of his sister and brother-in-law, he took custody of his niece and nephew. Over the next 8 years until his tragic passing, he raised and supported his niece and nephew. After the tragic death, Margaret took guardianship. Why didn't you do it, you big... At all relevant times, on or before January 29th, JJ and defendant Reed were in a dating relationship. In the months, weeks, and days leading up to January 29th, JJ and defendant Reed's relationships were deteriorating. During such time, defendant Reed picked fights, experienced jealousy, and had delusions of unfaithfulness.
okay.
She picked fights. Can I sue any lady I have been with who picked a fight?
I mean, the kind of stuff that was going on was very like it was both sides.
On or about January 28th, the defendant Reed knew that her relationship with JJ had run its course, but she met up with him on the 28th. On the 28th, on or about 8:51, plaintiff arrived at CF McCarthy's. CF McCarthy's was licensed to distribute, sell, and serve alcohol. At January 28th, at or about 8:58, McCarthy served Reed an alcoholic beverage. Reed consumed said drink. CF McCarthy's, through its agents, servants, or employees, served alcoholic beverages for defendant Reed at or about 9:13, 9:20, 9:33, 9:57, 10:22, and 10:29. Reed consumed such drinks. C.F. McCarthy's, through its agents, servants, and employees, served defendant Reed 7 alcoholic drinks between 8:58 and 10:29. I still don't believe that. During all relevant times before 10:29, defendant Reed showed signs of intoxications while at C.F. McCarthy's. Where? I watched that tape.
Well, they
Where
all
are the
testified to it
signs of
too.
intoxication?
They testified that she seemed just fine. So
Everyone was saying she showed no signs of. This is such other BS. It, we I have to think before I talk.
What?
We have to acknowledge that this man lost his brother, which is why, even though when he sat in the courtroom looking at her in the way he did, showing the world his ballsack, I didn't want to say anything. Then we watched that interview where we kept saying, well, he's grieving, he lost his brother. We have to realize that. Is he out fighting for anyone other than himself in this one? I know there's a lot of rumor about all the money that Karen helped set up for the kids might have, as we say in Denmark, gotten legs to walk on.
Yeah.
But what is this about? I really want to use some choice words. Am I wrong? He sat through the same 8 weeks we sat through. No one said Karen showed any signs of intoxication. Absolutely no one.
Yeah, they actually testified to the opposite.
I shouldn't get angry. I don't have anything to do. Statute of limitation would run in January for them to file this lawsuit. Who is the attorney on this? Doesn't see. Nope. I can't see a lawyer name. Yeah. But does he need money for that? For what? So much ballsack. Yeah. Has he lost money? Well, rumors has it that Karen had helped set up quite a nest egg for the kids for school and all of that after the mom and dad. I believe the rumor was 250, 300, and people claim that went into renovating his house.
Yeah.
And he didn't take the kids in, his mom did. So it's unfortunate that he has this mentality. Yeah, especially covering it up with, oh, we just want the best for John. No one said anything about showed signs of intoxication. Actually, everyone said they were fine. Yeah, she seemed like the most sober person there. It's so bad. I'm sure he has an attorney pushing it. Probably, but still, you can say no. But he was so laser focused on Karen Reed, I'm assuming he didn't hear any of the testimony supporting Karen Reed and only heard what fits his narrative. We saw that interview he did, and it was amazing watching a guy who sat through the same 8 weeks we did. And we were talking about it, Valhalla and Jamie and I, where we were saying, well, he has to believe she did it, because other than that, he will have to uh, find out that the people who have been gaslighting him for 2 years might have had a hand in his brother's passing, and he has been keeping them connected to the case. So I could understand him not wanting to realize how his friends were bad people, but this is other BS. He better show receipts. Yeah, well, let's see. Yes, Aussie have a drink, and I even think she overcharged the amount. I think she had her at 7 drinks, if I remember. I'm not sure. I tried to count, and I had her at 4. Curious what happens to the kids when the grandparents pass. Hopefully, they're old enough to take care of themselves, because good old Paul, who just wants the best for the family, doesn't seem to care.
No, it's all about. And for me, I know it's different in these aspects, but like to be able to go after her for all of this when she was never actually proven to like be the one that did any of this stuff, that blows my mind.
Yeah, but again, it's a civil suit.
Mm-hmm.
Around 10:40, defendant Reed was allowed to carry her alcoholic drink out of C.F. McCarthy's. On and about 10:54, they entered the waterfall. At all relevant times, Waterfall was licensed to distribute, sell, or serve alcohol. She walked into the waterfall carrying a drink from C.F. McCarthy's. While at Waterfall, defendant Reed shows sign of intoxication. Who is going to testify to that? Because they will then be presented with the testimony from the trial we just watched. Not one person at any point said Karen showed any signs of intoxication. This is
Yeah.
so much BS. So when you don't want to be drunk, just have someone else pay for your drinks. Is that how it works? Well, or just don't drink it, or tell the bartender, hey, give me a shot of water.
Hmm.
Defendant Waterfall served Reed 1 shot and 1 mixed alcohol drink. Reed consumed such drinks. Probably, maybe, but within an hour, unless it was a very, very strong alcohol beverage, like what's it called, Long Island iced tea. 1 shot and 1 mixed alcoholic drink would be 1 drink, because you'll burn roughly 1 drink an hour. So he's claiming that from she got 7 drinks and 2 drinks. That's 9 drinks in 5 hours. So that will be down to an intoxication level of 4 drinks after that. So she was not that intoxicated even because you burn 1 drink an hour if you're a normal person. Aussie thought she put her beverage on a table as she exited the pub. It did look possibly she did. The thing is, you can't see when. Now this is going to be relevant again. We're going to have to find someone who can enhance the video of both McCarthy's and Waterfall Bar. because you never see her drink 3 of the drinks they claim she did, because she is behind John. I saw one of them where she took a shot glass and one of the buddies of John's took that shot glass and drank it, and she just put the glass down. That's really going to be a lot of grifting to someone who can clear up those videos.
For sure.
Yeah, hell of a thank you for bailing him out of his DUI prison time.
Yeah.
For all of, did we see her carry a glass into the waterfall bar?
Into
Hey, crumb thief.
yeah.
I don't know what's going on. Karen should sue him for the bail money he's owed. Sorry, but what kind of people do this? John kind of treated Karen like crap too. Hey, Watcher. Well, I'll say it. I think he is an effing douche canoe.
I think it is too.
12:10, she left the bar. 12:11, John left the bar. Between 12:11 and 12:36, defendant Reed was under the influence of alcohol and unable to drive a motor vehicle safely. How can you prove that? No one, absolutely no one, has testified to that. Do we think Jen McCabe is going to come forward now and tell in this lawsuit, oh, she could barely walk. She was so hammered. She was falling all over the place. Oh, ER. No, Jen, you can't have your carrot now. Is this, who's going to testify to this? Are they going to use that DUI test that's done, that the DUI guy claims he can easily get thrown out in court because it's measured on the wrong set of the blood? It's the plasma, and I don't remember, but DUI guy said they are not applicable. And with the name DUI guy, I guess he had 1 or 2 DUI cases. Hey, Mary P. Well, nothing, because the other case is delayed too late. And then we just started reading the lawsuit that John O'Keefe just filed against Karen Reed for wrongful death. I'm not a fan of claiming the deceased as saint by virtue of unaliving. Probably why people don't like me. Well, I don't think he was a good boyfriend. We read the text. I didn't hold back when I said they probably shouldn't have been together because they were kind of toxic to each other. But again, that's a lot of people I don't think should have been together.
Yeah, I can think of a lot of people in my 3D life right now that I'm like, why are they still together?
Yeah. Paul is a fool. If memory serves, they didn't do all the tests to be able to prove how intoxicated she was when she left. Well, they did that test where how was it? They took the blood draw, and then you can use 2 different methods to measure the alcohol. But the guy who had to do the calculation of what her alcohol percentage must have been had the wrong time. He never ever did the test. He just got the numbers from the police and he put them into an Excel arc and said, well, she was somewhere between 0.08 and 0.24. It was
It was really high.
125% difference between the lowest and the highest number. In any courtroom, that should have been immediately chucked out and said, "This, you can't do this. This is just stupidity." He is a douche canoe.
Mhm.
I should have given them relationship advice. Yeah, because I'm the relationship expert. I stay out of them. I try to get into them and it never works. If they hadn't been together in the past, they wouldn't have been together when this happened, in my opinion. And it doesn't mean anything. They were together. So what? It doesn't prove she did anything. And they were just not on the same page. We see this all the time. Look at the Laurie Shaver case. She got her front pocket tattoo, and the other guy went back to his ex-wife. Sometimes relationships don't are not equal. Someone wants something, someone wants something else, and that doesn't mean that they do bad stuff. What's to say that she didn't drink more after getting back to John's house before she get to bed? What's to say she didn't have a blood alcohol percent of 0.24? We don't know because the expert couldn't tell us how he came to the conclusion other than I put it into a piece of paper. Did you ever test any of it? No. Zach, this looks like a job for me. Well, you do have some choice words now and again.
Yeah. Good to see you
Yeah,
again.
they have to disprove that to claim she was. But again, they testified that she had the alcohol intoxication at 12:45 when the police claimed it happened, which we know isn't true because she was back at his house at 12:36.
Yeah.
It would be exhausting living like that. His wife must be miserable too. Chasing money from Karen is a new low. Yeah. Reasonable doubt is only 51% more likely to be guilty than not in civil cases, I believe. Yes, it's just a preponderance of the evidence. So it's actually 50.001 somewhere is enough. So everyone just follow me. This is going to be bad, I know. We all need a little controversy. Which song is he going into now?
You don't know?
I know it when I see the next words. Cause it feels so empty without me. Oh, it's Eminem.
Yeah.
No,
Got it.
Zachariah. It's always empty without you. We know it's coming. She should have put everything in her parents' name, filed for bankruptcy. Can you do that and not get it taken away again? Because you can't hide your money if you go bankrupt and just get your money back. Can you? Karen Reed gave him a lot more leeway than she would have if she didn't have a youthful memory. Maybe. Again, I don't. Yeah. Good to see Eminem in the chat. They just won't play him on the radio. Well, back to this. At all relevant times on January 29th, defendant Reed drove John O'Keefe to the residence. Yes. The defendant Reed and John had been in an argument the night of January 28th into the early morning of January 29th, which I.
What?
Jamie, which person told us they were in an argument?
Nobody.
E-R.
Well, she didn't really know. She just
She said
started assuming.
that they were arguing in a car
When?
when she was looking out the window. No, I can't do a Boston accent. Out the window. I just thought they were arguing in the car. She was the one who kept talking about them arguing in a car. How does anyone know they were arguing in the car?
What's that
How will
mean?
he
No one
prove
knows.
they were arguing? Maybe, well, she was driving the car. Maybe he was rattling the tuna can the best he ever did, and she was just smiling. Or maybe they were chewing each other's heads off. No one knows what went on in that car except Karen Reed.
Hmm.
How can anyone, and I know all the Smurfs keep going on about, well, they were fighting. I saw the video from McCarthy's. I saw the video from the waterfall bar. If they were going from her pushing her hands down his pants to arguing, I know I have that effect on women too. But it didn't seem like she was about to tell him exactly where to take his shoes and stuff them. Who knows they were arguing in the car? This is a made up story to try and tell, oh, she must have done it because they were fighting. She yelled at him after the fact. They weren't in an argument until John O'Keefe went into the house and came out. No one knows he came out of the house ever again. If he ever went into the house, it doesn't matter for anything to do with Karen Reed.
Yeah.
It's nothing to do with Karen Reed. That's why I haven't been talking much about all the other players, because it has nothing to do with Karen Reed. The more you want to put everyone else in the case, the less the focus is on this has nothing to do with reality. Medicare can go after a home if it was put in a trust less than 5 years, so I've heard. Yeah, I think you can't just hide your assets. Biggest accents all sound southern. Thank you.
I know. I wanted him to keep talking. That was funny.
John O'Keefe was intoxicated, but also was an adult, so he made his own decision. Exactly. I don't think they can, with the tight timeline, I don't think Jen could see them arguing. No one could see them arguing because
No.
remember, it's the favorite time of the day. We had happy drawing time.
Are we drawing? Yay.
Oh, that was the wrong one. This one. We have the house up here. This is Jen. Jen, who claims she saw Karen Reed park next to the driveway, where she looked out the window and saw her a couple of times, then saw her move her car up here, but never saw John. Oh, Jamie, I made a boo-boo. That was Jen McKay's first 5 explanations.
Yeah.
Because right now, we have a truck with a snowplow placed out here.
Mm-hmm.
Not seen by anyone in the car that came to pick up Nagel's sister. Because he claimed Karen was parked here and then moved up here. But when did they argue with John? When did Jen see them argue? Because Jen never saw the car here. She saw the car down here. You couldn't look into that car seeing anyone hearing anything. It doesn't make any sense that anyone should testify they were arguing in the car. There is no evidence whatsoever of John and Karen arguing. The only evidence you will be able to present in court is Karen with her hands down his pants, is Mr. Kuliakakis telling the court they were so loving. My wife was was scolding me for not being as affectionate as they were towards each other.
Yeah.
it doesn't make sense that anyone would claim that. Every witness driving when they left that bar was driving intoxicated, weren't they? Again, has nothing to do with this case. Nothing to do with this case. All of this, the case, Paul's Omer's lawsuit, so much, it makes me sick. Yeah, it absolutely makes no sense. That, but of course, but who? I'm sorry, Mary P, but you don't know that. No way you know this. No one knows that Karen Reed was arguing with John O'Keefe that night. No one. No matter if you want to claim that you saw it from inside the house or you know that when John was going into the house, they were arguing. No one knows that. No evidence have been provided. I don't think anyone other than Karen Reed knows anything about what happened in that car. Her testimony, I stopped outside the house. He went to the door. I saw him walk in. She never said, yeah, whew, I was almost going Mexican mom and taking off my shoes and throwing them at him. No, no one has any evidence that Karen Reed and John O'Keefe was fighting that night. We know he was giving her the cold shoulder all day and getting pissy because she got that guy to fix her furnace. But no evidence they were fighting.
Yeah, but they weren't telling anybody about that. Those arguments they're having throughout the day. And then when she started leaving the crazy voicemails, I mean, this is
but that's around
John is already, not with her though. You know what I mean?
That's when she left that she started fighting. Because
but no one knew that. No one knew that until all that evidence.
No, until they got discovery.
Yeah.
I don't normally do conspiracy theories. I'm gonna do a yellow cottage hill. But listen, logic. Listen to logic. Karen Reed arrived at the house. John got out, walked to the door. Ryan Nagel then, a few minutes later, or shortly thereafter, arrives. To make it easier for someone from the house to come down the driveway, Karen Reed moves the car up here. That's why Ryan Nagel sees her sitting alone in the car. She waits there for some time because, in my guesstimation, after seeing Higgins' text and all of that, I think John was going in to have a few choice words with Higgins. Before the trial, I think John was just going in there to say goodnight and say, well, I know your stomach is hurting, but I just want to go in there and just say goodnight. And he didn't come back, so she got mad at that. Been there, done that, got the t-shirt. But I think after seeing the waterfall bar video, that John was going in there to tell Higgins, stop, stay away. And John didn't come out. He probably told Karen, it'll take 5 minutes. I'm just going to talk to them. Everything is okay. And she then starts thinking, and we know John previously had stayed away getting drunk. So she thought, nope, my stomach is killing me. I'm not sitting out here again. He was yelling at me all day on the phone. I'm going to go home. He can call a cab, that POS. And then she went home, and because she's angry, she calls him and yells at him, saying, where the F are you? Because they had a deal. He was just going in there to tell Higgins, keep your filthy paws off her silky drawers, and then everything would be fine. And he stayed in there, so she believed, Jesus, he's fallen into a beer hole. And beer holes have one problem: you have to drink your way out of them. So it'll take forever to get out of a beer hole. I think that's the most reasonable explanation of why she was staying and then drove off again. That's what I think. I need a tinfoil hat. It would be epic. Yeah. She was even watching his kids while he was away drinking with the guys. Yeah. And the kid was home alone while they were out drinking. That's another thing. The CB would have liked the jury to believe they were arguing. Yeah. That's another thing that defense might have been. We can always Monday morning quarterback and say, why didn't they do that? And why didn't they do this? Yeah, and I don't even think she wanted to go home. Mary, let me tell you a thing we men learn about you women. It's gonna blow some socks off, so please sit down, everyone.
Good thing I don't have any on. What's up?
Sometimes you women like to extort us to get your way.
Extort you. Okay.
So you say stuff like, if you're not here within 5 minutes, I'm leaving. We can come back 2 hours later. You're still sleeping on the couch. We're going to have hell in the morning, but you'll say it anyway. We have kind of figured out that no matter what, if we're there in 5 minutes or 2 hours, it's going to be hell anyway. When that telephone call comes, we know it's going to be trouble. So we don't always believe that, oh, she's going to leave. No, she's just going to be really, really pissy when I get home. But that's a calculated risk. Fellas out there, don't tell the ladies I told. But that's kind of a woman thing. It's the same as, hey, honey, I want to go out, have a few beers with my friends. Oh, if that's what you want to do, just do it. You don't want me to do it? I don't care. If you want to do it, just do it. That means we're going to watch The Notebook tonight. Have I been extorted? I've been married.
Oh, Baker.
She has big time lawyers. I'm sure they can figure out how to figure out her money. I don't think she has her big time lawyers on this one because it's just filed. Nope, not me. No way. If a dude plays that game with a chick, that's on him. Leave the drama for your mama. Get your ass home past days. I feel a lot of us guys have been in that situation. Exactly. If I'm 5 beers in or 10 beers in, I'll still get hell in the morning. We got sidetracked, Jamie. That's your fault. After John got out of defendant Reed's vehicle, Reed drove her SUV and hit John O'Keefe. That's going to be interesting to provide evidence of that as well. At all relevant times, defendant Reed drove her SUV in a state of intoxication. Probably. As a result of Reed's SUV hitting John, John was knocked down onto the ground in front of Fairview, suffered serious injuries, and died. Just none of them looking like a car had hit him. After hitting John with her SUV, defendant Reed fled the scene and returned to John's residence. Yes. At all relevant times, defendant Reed knew that it was snowing, knew there was an impending blizzard, and knew or should have known that leaving John outside in the blizzard would likely result in serious injury or death. It's going to be really interesting for him to prove she did it. Because the juries couldn't. So, yeah. At all relevant times, when defendant Reed drove her SUV and hit John O'Keefe, defendant Reed failed to use any care to avoid creating an unreasonable risk of harm to the public and Reed. John voluntarily took an obvious risk under the circumstances, knew or should have known that death or serious injuries was reasonable, predictable, persisted in a clearly negligent course of conduct over the noticeable period of time, was impatient with reasonable precautions, was deliberately inattentive to the predictable hazards of her actions, and or was deliberately inattentive when there was a risk of great and immediate danger. But all of that relies on you can prove that she hit John O'Keefe.
Right.
It's going to be interesting. This is the wrongful death lawsuit filed against Karen Reed by the good old Paul O'Keefe. Paul is a 3-time victim, born stupid, brother murdered and brainwashed by McAlberts. Now he's a victimizer with this lawsuit and open to scornful roasting. Glenn Lake, you forgot, he's also a victim of his own DUI when Karen had to bail him out of this one. But I don't, yeah. At all relevant times when Reed drove her SUV, Reed was reckless when she intended the reckless conduct that resulted in John O'Keefe's injuries or death. Her conduct made it highly likely that someone, namely John, would suffer serious injuries or died. She knew or had reason to know of the risk of grave injury or death to John, or said risk would have been obvious to a reasonable person, and she intentionally and unreasonable disregarded that risk. John's injuries or death resulted from defendant Reed's decision to engage in the conduct referenced above in 16, 17, 26, and 37. Well, that's going to be interesting again. So he has to prove she killed him, which the criminal court couldn't prove.
Exactly. That's why this is difficult for me to understand.
Yeah. Well, it's to
I
get
could
it out
see
there.
them going in and like maybe proving the drinking, and probably be a lower bar for him to be able to do that. But then you're getting into the territory of like, now you have to prove that she was the one that did it. And I don't know how you do that if the criminal court couldn't even do that.
Well, yeah, they can get her on the DUI. And then they have to have a jury, if it's not a bench trial, that's willing to extrapolate that to say, well, she was driving, but you still have to say his death resulted from being struck by her car to get any monetary compensation, because her DUI is a DUI. Unless they can prove, and remember, the ARCA guys is now free to consult with the defense.
Oh, yeah.
If he must prove that he died as a result of being hit by a car, no one other than Trooper Paul, who claims the crime scene told him she did it, and Trooper Proctor, who said, when I saw a missing shoe, I knew it was a car. No, that wasn't Trooper Paul. That was Tully. Said, when I saw one shoe at the crime scene, I know it was a hit and run. That's the only evidence anyone presented that she did it. If I know that there's a lower bar in cases like this, but still, you have to prove her car killed John O'Keefe.
That's what I mean, yeah.
What about the Bears? What about the Bears?
Is Mary behind a little bit?
I think Mary's a little behind. On January, approximately 4:30, Karen Reed knew she hit John with her SUV. Nevertheless, she woke up John's 14-year-old niece, Kayla, and talked about John's death, talked about hitting John with her SUV, and otherwise involved Kayla in her frantic calls about John's death. According to whom? According to Kayla, wasn't her first testimony that she came in and asked her to call someone because she didn't have the number so she could call and ask if they had seen John?
Yeah, she's the one that gave her Jen's number, right?
Yeah. At all relevant times, defendant Reed knew that Kayla was a vulnerable minor who already lost her parents and depended on her custodial uncle, who became her surrogate parent. Her surrogate parent who left her alone while he was out getting his drink on. Just because you're dead, don't make you a saint. If you want to talk about how much he took care of his daughter, let's go back to the 4:30 I just stopped being just stopped being drunk at 4:30 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
He was such a saint. He was a virtue of nothing other than the purest of instincts, and everyone could learn from him. No, he was at a bar celebrating that daughter had gotten into a school while leaving that daughter at home, getting his girlfriend to come pick him up because he knew he was going to get too drunk to drive. But that would have been okay in Paul's eyes if she had been alone all night because they had been out partying. That'll be fine. But whoa, Karen,
Hmm.
she absolutely did not tell Kayla that she killed John. That is insane. Yes,
Yeah.
you don't have to prove it. You just have to think it's more likely than not likely. Yes, but you still have to convince them that it's more likely that the car did the injuries to John's body that's found on John's body, when you're going to have witnesses telling you those injuries is not consistent with being hit by a car. Jen
Yeah.
will do whatever for her 5% and some carrots. Yeah, and that's another thing. Karen had set up so the school was paid for. That was the money she had fixed that trust for them. And Paul said, nah, that prestigious school that could have probably given her a good life, don't want to pay for it.
Yeah.
Yes, why isn't there it constantly mentioned as John O'Keefe? J JOK, but JJ, nah. Should not have been his daughter that was out getting. Don't understand that one. Shouldn't everyone in the house be responsible for allowing him to unalive to they all had to see him? Well, not everyone in the house, but everyone who left the house could just as well have been negligent in not paying attention because they must have seen him. I would love if there was a part in here where they said, "By the way, we are suing Nagel because she saw him and didn't do anything."
Yeah.
Paul is on his fourth beer of the day right now, allegedly. No, it's two. It's way more than four. On or about 5:07, she left his house. Around 5:18, 5:35, Reed knew John was seriously injured, buried in the snow, and laying on the ground in front of 34 Fairview, where defendant Reed left John to die hours later. How? How? What, if any, is this?
I know.
This is how did she know he was buried? Oh, he's doing the stupid Smurf thing with she went back to the crime scene.
Yep.
Of course he does. Jamie, do you know I'm not
Baker.
allowed to say the JC thing?
You can say it all you want.
No, because then
Or you
Chad
say
gets mad.
G's O Pete's. That's what you gotta learn. G's O Pete's.
Cheese O Pete's.
G's O Pete's.
This is like Krusty Pants have helped him with the timeline. He's using all the hits we heard before everything in trial was presented.
Yeah. That's what's ridiculous about it.
It really feels of not hearing Jamie's animal feels off not hearing Jamie's animal noises.
I know, I'm sorry. It's like gonna be like 90 degrees this week, so the air is on, so many windows are shut.
Yeah,
I
that's
miss
a big
them.
problem. Well, I'm praying for sanity. I need that one. On January 29th, defendant Reed admitted repeatedly that she hit.
Stop it.
Hey, Jamie.
Hi, Baker.
Do you know there's only 2 people who claim she said that?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know none of those people have anyone who can corroborate that she said that?
Yep.
Do you know that none of them told that until they were in the courtroom?
Yep. I am aware.
Do you know one of them was interviewed 5 or 7 times and never, ever, ever mentioned anything other than, could I have hit him?
Yep. And now she firmly knows exactly what she said 3 times.
Do you know that she claimed they were in the car praying to Jesus, talking about cycles,
Mm-hmm.
when she heard her say those words?
Yep.
And please Google "How long to die in the cold."
Yep.
Do you know we have video evidence they weren't in the car together at that time?
We do. We sure do. Yep.
I hope,
It's crazy.
I really hope this is worth it, Judas. You are now running with Jen McCabe's lies, and that I was an acquaintance who sits in a hot tub grabbing her boyfriend. These are the people you now rely on to get money from your dead brother's girlfriend, because you closed your eyes. You just want that brass ring. I hope if any money is awarded to anyone in this case, you will not get 1 nickel, 1 cent.
He doesn't deserve
I
it.
hope this case will end up with you incurring hundreds of thousands of dollars in lawyer fees that you will have to spend the rest of your miserable, drunken life paying off of. Reminding yourself that you ruined your nephew and niece's life because you didn't want your niece to go to that fancy school that could have helped her out. And you are now trying to extort money out of a woman who helped you when you were so effing drunk that you plowed into an old man. And you are now shacking up with the Ozempic horse and that I have no friends firefighter. I hope. No, I don't. I hope to God that someday, you'll wake up. And when you do, you'll say, I'm sorry. Because you ruin everyone's lives around you. Sue me too, mother effer. Paul had 2 chances to take his sister's kids and didn't either time, supposedly because they don't want to leave their friends after John O'Keefe died. I'm calling BS. Yeah. This requires Jen McCabe and Kathleen McLaughlin take the stand. Those depositions will be amazing, especially because everyone lied when they took their depositions before. Yes. It's all the Invisibles know. I do not wish you $1 million. Well, I'm wish him $1 million in lawyer fees.
Yeah.
Yeah, he couldn't have them. He didn't have room at the. He's coming off all so good and mighty now, but he didn't have room at the shelter when They were outside saying, "Can you take us in?" I don't know if that's true. I don't know. I have heard the rumors, but I don't know it's true.
Yeah, I
I
heard
don't
the
think they
same
have had
rumors.
depositions before. Sorry, yeah, it's all the police interviews. That every police officer who interviewed them did it wrong. Zach, don't. On or about 6:03 a.m., defendant Reed arrived at 34 Fairview and immediately observed John lying on the ground, buried in the snow where she had earlier left him to die. At relevant times on January 29, JJ suffered trauma injuries before becoming hypothermic. Yes. At or about 7:50, John was pronounced dead at hospital. Yes. Defendant Reed went to the grieving house of John O'Keefe, feigned comfort to John's family, and used the opportunity to, amongst other things, remove the offending weapon, her vehicle, and or destroy relevant evidence.
What? You are delusional, sir.
Anyone who is a lawyer here, can she sue him for defamation? Not even the police claimed she destroyed any relevant evidence. They tried with the ring thing, but when they found out that the ring system couldn't be connected to the computer, they went away from that. So now he's claiming this guy didn't watch the trial. A serum conversion and retrograde explanation was done on her blood draw, where the defendant reads blood with the results showing her BAC would have been between 0.13 and 0.29% around the time she drove the SUV. Her blood alcohol percent of 0.13, 0.29 all exceeds the legal limit to drive a motor vehicle. At relevant times on and about, defendant Reed drove her SUV while under the influence. I believe that is true. As a direct and proximate cause of Reed's drunk driving, John O'Keefe sustained serious injuries of body and mind. No. Conscious pain and suffering? No. Fear of impending death? No. Lost earnings, medical, funeral, or burial expenses and died? No. Absolutely not. Because everyone who has any kind of medical degree have testified la voiture never hit la man. Notwithstanding her Fifth Amendment right not to speak, defendant Reed chose to speak publicly. She knowingly and deliberately changed her story and fabricated a conspiracy knowing the same to be false. She publicly communicated this false narrative, thereby frustrating justice for John. Such false narrative caused the plaintiff's aggravated emotional distress. What's that false conspiracy she made up? And how are you hurt, you big POS, by anyone implying that Brian Alberts, Colin, Big Bri, the gay guy, Bri, the Navy guy, did anything to John? Why did that hurt you, you little... I hate people like this, Jamie. I hate people who smell a dollar and want a dollar. And don't give two craps about what they lie about.
It's pretty pathetic.
Oh. I think they said she destroyed part of the video with her showing McCabe and the other cronies, but the cops had already confiscated that video, so they may have deleted it. Plus, Lorelai, the computer in the house had no access to the ring videos.
Well, she didn't have access to the computer, and like she didn't have access to the...
No, the computer had no... The only access to the ring system at John's house was John's phone. There's a higher likelihood that Jen McCabe removed evidence than Karen Reed did it. Trying to claim the ring camera was deleted after Ring said it was not. Exactly. That's the big problem.
That was the whole thing. They wanted to They got all the ring camera footage, and they never got any evidence that said anything was deleted, but they were just assuming.
I believe his blood alcohol level was above 2. I can't remember it right now. Bring on the deposition of the hospital staff and the suppliers, since they allege they don't use alcohol wipes when drawing blood for those tests. Possible new evidence. Has Paul gone rogue, like a rogue Dumbo? He's just betting on that there's a lower level of guilty in civil court.
Mm-hmm.
Showing McCabe that, yeah, I knew what it was. They can't prove she didn't drink after she got back to his house, therefore they can't prove when she got drunk. And they will have to prove that she got so hammered of, what was the bar tab we saw? 2 Tulios and 1 beer, or what was it, $40?
Yeah, it was like
Where were all the other drinking
it was
coming
super
from?
cheap. Yeah.
I think there was $42 with with like a $5 tip.
Mm-hmm.
Where did she get all of those drinks? Because she didn't pay for them. Call Crash Daddies. Yeah, they will call Crash Daddies for this. Hey, Penela. I have to research, but I don't think they can use her defense in the criminal case against her in this kind of lawsuit. No, and again, what irreplaceable damage do you get that she pointed to Brian Higgins and said he did it? You couldn't tell me that you get emotional damage by her claiming a third-party culprit. That's just stupid. If
Yeah.
she claimed that Paul did it, then I could see there was some possible damages done to his reputation and earnings and blah, blah, blah. But by claiming someone else must have done it, and they didn't even mention anyone else, come on now. Will this go in front of Bev? I don't know. The crazy part is one Albert has already killed someone with a vehicle, right? Yes, that is town selectman Chris Albert, a virtue of the community who got 6 months for. Well, he turned himself in later when he probably sobered up.
Yeah.
Yes, all the ring was on John's phone. So when she was at the home at boom, 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 boom. When was it she feigned comfort? It wasn't at 7:50. It was later because she was at the hospital first.
Yeah,
At that
wasn't it
time,
around noon, I thought?
yeah, at that time, police had custody of his phone, the only access to the ring system. So if anything had been removed, you have to talk to Trooper Puxer about that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I said earlier she can pull in Higgins and the Alberts as co-defendant, because those defense would be usable here too. Did I miss something? I just realized they were waiting for the criminal trial to finish because they were certain she would be found guilty before filing this. The new trial being in January messes that plan up. Yes, because this is exactly what you could have filed if.
It looks like one crime just started there.
Yeah, but I'm just gonna.
I was just letting you know. I didn't know if you knew.
Blah, blah, blah. I do have it also. If it starts going, I'll hear it. But
Okay.
but if she had been found guilty, let's check it off. If she had been found guilty, he would have died by car.
Mm-hmm.
Jen would have told that they were arguing. So that would have been checked off. They would have proved the ring video was tampered with. She went back to the crime scene before she went to the other one. All of this would have been true if she was found guilty, which would then have boosted them to the next one, count one, against the CF McCarthy's, because they served alcohol to an intoxicated person, namely defendant Reed. Defendant knew or should have known that defendant Reed was intoxicated. How? No one saw her intoxicated. And then, but again, all of this, I think you got it, Jess. Yeah, it's just the same with the other one as well.
Yep.
Oh,
Potential witnesses in this case, and under the exclusionary rule, I need you to not.
can you hear it?
present while other witnesses are
Yeah.
present. It's not personal. That's okay.
No, but I think just this was written before when they believed he was found guilty. Because if they had found her guilty, it would have trickled down that she was so clearly intoxicated at the bars, they should have known not to serve her more alcohol. Statute of limitation runs out right before the trial. Yeah, that's why they have to file it now. But Karen Reed can also request a civil case be stayed until a criminal case is resolved. No, I think it's, but I think I'm going to tip my hat to Jess, because I think this was written on the presumption she was found guilty. Because if they had hit her on all of that, we saw the charges or the points he brought up against her. That was all the points. What person was the one who brought into the case? Who was talking about the deleted ring video where you could clearly see her going back, showing us at the car?
Mm-hmm.
Who was the one implying she was at the scene before she came over to pick her up? Jen. Who was the one who claimed she said, I hit him?
Yep.
Who was the one who claimed they were arguing in the car?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a smart person, but I'll bet you when the young jerks go through this tonight, if Better Row will be on, if any of you will be in that chat, ask them if this doesn't line up exactly with Jennifer McCabe's testimony. All of this is what Jennifer McCabe was implying during the trial.
100%.
Jess is a lawyer in the CV, so she knows. Don't go that far. Jess is okay. Drop those R's for the ma accent. Well, let's get back to Kouri Richins.
All right,
Okay.
Brittany, can we go back on the record? Darden Richins, just for clarity, can have counsel for the state make their appearance, please?
Good morning, Your Honor. Brad Bloodworth, Lindsay Sherman, Joseph Hill, and Fred Burmester for the state.
And for the defense, please.
Wendy Lewis, Catherine Lester, and Alexander Ramos for Kouri Richins.
Okay. I appreciate everybody here in the gallery has exercised great patience this morning. We needed to discuss some legal issues related to the admissibility of evidence. Couldn't have had that discussion in the presence of the public in a way that would preserve the integrity of the process going forward. So I appreciate your patience. Mr. Bloodworth, before we get rolling this morning, I understand there's some housekeeping details we need to address.
Yes, Your Honor. The state would like to provide the court with something of an overview regarding how the state will present its preliminary case. The state has presented most of its evidence and arguments in paper in advance of today. And notably including the transcript of the detention hearing, which the court has already admitted into evidence along with 60 and since now other exhibits. We intend to be mindful in our presentation to not belabor well-established.
This is as loud as I can get it. I'm sorry.
And we ask that the court.
I have my boost on and everything.
The opposite, of course, holds true if the court seeks additional information. If the court would let us know, we will present it.
Understood.
Speaking of our papers, back in May, the state had submitted a bench memo. I have two errata that I would like to put on the record. The first is on page 20 and 24, Your Honor. There's a date that refers to Friday, March the 5th, 2022. As a calendar will tell us all, that was Friday, March the 4th.
Okay, got it.
At page 10, in reference to a divorce consultation, the state wrote that occurred in January of 2022. The state asked that the court strike the date. The court will call some litigation related to this matter that occurred after the state filed that bench memo. That litigation revealed that date was not accurate.
Any others?
Those are the errata, Your Honor. The state will call in its presentation Detective Jeff O'Driscoll and experts Chris Kotrodemus and
Jamie, I need you to go off mute so I can turn our audio down.
Okay.
When the state calls Detective O'Driscoll, the state will not conduct a direct exam. Instead, the state will refer the court to his testimony at the detention hearing. The state is essentially offering Detective O'Driscoll for cross-examination by current defense counsel within that scope as
You good?
in the best interest of a fundamentally fair proceeding, since they've not yet had an opportunity to cross-examine. The state provided the defense with advance notice of this approach and reserves the opportunity to redirect Detective O'Driscoll. Finally, Your Honor, I'd like to, I guess by stipulation, admit a few more documents. The first is what we have labeled as 7A. Exhibit 7 in the court's binder.
The self-right extraction report.
It does, Your Honor, and it's in there, and we refer to it in our papers because it has a screenshot of a navigation system. It is in 7A, but absent a telescope, the court's not going to be able to read it. So we have blown that up and labeled that 7A. If I may pass it up to the court.
Ms. Nestor, Ms. Lewis, any objection?
No, Your Honor.
Okay.
Your Honor, the other document we've labeled 67, and that is some notice for claim stage from True Stage. They've been provided in discovery. They've been referenced. They just have not yet been.
What's the number?
67, Your Honor.
What is 66? You referenced 66, but
Right.
understood. It's already in the binder. Got it.
It is, Your Honor.
And 66 is exhibit, correct, counsel? Stipulated. My apologies. Is 67 stipulated?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, 67 and 7A are,
Your Honor, may I?
of course.
Thank you. Your Honor, the final two exhibits are docket references 123 and 124. I'm not sure how they got left out of some of the earlier discussion on this, but they did. So the state moves 123 and 124.
Any objection?
No objection.
Docket entries 123 and 124 are admitted for the purpose of today's preliminary hearing.
Your Honor, unless the court has anything to say, we'll call Detective O'Driscoll.
Ms. Lewis, Ms. Nestor, Mr. Ramos, anything housekeeping wise?
No, Your Honor, nothing else.
Okay. Detective, let's get you sworn.
solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give in the matter before the court to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, subject to the pains and penalties of perjury?
Yes, I do.
Your Honor, the state tenders Detective O'Driscoll for cross-examination in the scope of the direct conducted at the detention.
Understood. Ms. Lewis.
Good morning, Detective.
Good morning.
We haven't met. I'm Wendy Lewis. I'm one of Ms. Richins' attorneys.
Thank you.
So, Detective O'Driscoll, when was it that you were first asked to take over this case?
In March of 2023.
And who was on this matter before you as the lead detective?
Detective Jamie Woody.
And why was this matter turned over from Detective Woody to yourself?
Detective Woody moved divisions from the investigations division to the patrol division. She had an opportunity to have some auxiliary assignments that are only available in that division, specifically a canine handler position.
Did you ever become aware of any evidence or any issues with Detective Woody mishandling evidence in this case or other cases?
No.
All right, when you first took over this case in March of 23, what was it that you reviewed initially?
I was not able to review the entirety of the information that was available in the case, but specifically, most of the information that I received was from updates from investigators that had been working the case prior to me. I was able to review some of the supplemental reports that had been entered into our CAD file, but I don't recall the entirety of every document or piece of information that I would review.
Did you review all the police reports that had been written up to that point?
But from our office,
Yes.
I don't believe so.
Did you review all of Detective Woody's reports?
I believe so, yes.
Now, who did you interview initially when you first took over this case?
The first interview I conducted, I believe, was with Ms. Richins.
All right. So that interview, well, let me get back to that in a minute. Before we talk about the interview with Ms. Richins, did you, I'm going to go back to the early morning of March 4th, 2022.
Okay.
Did you review evidence about the investigation that was done that night?
Yes.
And what investigation was done at the home that night? Or that early morning hours of March 4th, 2022?
Responding deputies conducted an initial interview with Ms. Richins. Detectives were then called out and they conducted, I believe, a separate interview with Ms. Richins as well as other people that were then at the home by the time they arrived. And I believe they conducted a search of the home for any kind of evidence that may have helped them understand what had happened.
And what was seized from the home that night as potential evidence? Are you aware?
I don't know a complete list, no.
Are you aware if anyone was searching for any illegal drugs in the home that night?
I do not know.
Were any illegal drugs found in the home that night?
I don't believe so.
So no fentanyl was found in the home.
Not that I'm aware of.
Were there any unidentified pills, light green pills, blue pills, dark green pills, anything like that found in the home the early morning of March 4th?
I don't believe so.
Were there prescription medications taken at that time?
I believe so, yes. Part of a death investigation is to document and collect prescription medications for the scene. I
Were there
can't
any,
tell you specifically which ones though.
sorry, let me just speak up. Were there any non-prescription medications or illegal substances taken from the home that night of any kind?
I don't believe so.
Eventually, or early on when you started the case, were you able to review the medical examiner's report?
Yes.
And what was your understanding of what caused Mr. Richins' death based on that?
The medical examiner's report identified that the cause of death was drug intoxication with a specific drug being fentanyl.
All right. But nothing was found or seized the early morning of March 4th that it included fentanyl. Is that correct?
No fentanyl was seized that I'm aware of. No.
All right. Was there any glassware seized in that initial search?
I don't know.
You don't know if there was glassware seized, such as copper mugs or shot glasses, you're not aware?
I know with review of supplemental reports I could find that information, but right now I don't know if during the first search on the morning after Eric Richins' death, if those were collected or not.
Were they collected at some other time?
Yes, I believe some copper cups were collected from the home subject to a search warrant.
All right. When was that search warrant that was executed on the Richins' home? You said after.
There were multiple that were executed. The first one after Eric Richins' death, I believe, was in April of that same year, mid to late April. I don't remember an exact date.
This is the preliminary hearing in the Kouri Richins trial. The lady who allegedly unalived her husband by spiking his Moscow Mule with a little fentanyl. She later wrote a children's book about the case, the unaliving, and said her kids missed their dad. The preliminary hearing is to see what evidence can come into the trial later. Not different case. It's the one we've been waiting for all day. We just did the Karen Reed part to fill some time. What year did she unalive him? 2020, I believe it was.
Yeah, because it took a
Was this
while, right?
after?
Yeah,
She
it took
wrote
a
the
year
book?
before she wrote the book. That was a year later, and then she went on all the big TV stations, and then they charged her.
Yeah, and then people started to get suspicious.
It's not what evidence can come in, it's whether there is enough to continue the trial. You have told me this 3 times, and I forget it every time. Thank you, Jess. Yeah, I'm going to take that off the title again. It was just because I read the Karen Reed thing.
The medical examiner's report had been reviewed.
Yes.
Were you present for that?
No.
But you reviewed reports regarding that search.
Yes.
Was there any Oxycontin found in that search?
I know during one of the searches that there were some prescription opiates that were not in a prescription container that were found in the home. I don't know if they were specifically Oxycontin.
Were they fentanyl?
No.
Were they tested at some point in the course of this investigation?
I don't know. I could review supplemental reports and get that information, but I don't.
But you don't know. Were there any illegal drugs or drugs that were prescribed that were seized in that April of 22 search?
I don't believe so.
Did there come a time that some THC gummies were seized?
Yes.
Do you know when that was?
I would have to check dates on the receipts of those items and evidence. It could have been during that first search in April, or it could have been on a subsequent search. I'm not sure.
So there may have been illegal substances or THC, which is an illegal substance, found in that search.
I believe THC was found in the home during one of the search warrants executed on the home.
Right. And were they in the form of gummies or some other form of THC?
They were edibles.
Edibles. So were the edibles, were you made aware, or are you aware of who the edibles belong to?
We received statements that they belong to Eric, the decedent.
Were those edibles tested?
Yes.
And did you review a report regarding those edibles?
Yes.
And did that report, that initial report, say that there were traces of fentanyl in those edibles?
No.
You did not review a report that said there was fentanyl in the edibles?
No.
So, as you were investigating this case, well, let's strike that. I'll come back to that. So you talked about that your first interview in this case was with Kouri Richins. What was the date of that interview?
I believe it was April 14th of 2023.
So this was about 13 months after Mr. Richins' death.
Correct.
So you said before that conversation with Ms. Richins, and where did that conversation take place?
At her home at 282 West Willow Court in Francis.
And you had reviewed a number of reports prior to that interview.
Several, yes.
So you had an idea of the investigation that Detective Woody had already done on this matter.
I had a partial understanding of the investigation that she had conducted.
Who was with you when you did that interview? Were you alone or was there another officer with you?
No, Sergeant Hoffmeyer was with me as well.
Sergeant. Had you discussed this matter with him prior to this interview?
I just requested that he accompany me because we had both newly been put into the investigations division and both be fairly involved with the case.
All right, had you read correspondence prior to this interview with Ms. Richins, from Ms. Richins' prior counsel to the Summit County Sheriff's Office?
No.
So you hadn't read any correspondence where Ms. Richins' counsel asked that she not be interviewed with counsel present? You hadn't read those yet?
No, I had not.
Now, taking over as lead investigator, didn't you know that she was represented by counsel?
No, I did not.
During the interview with Ms. Richins, did you become aware that she was represented by counsel?
Partway through the interview, it became apparent, yes.
You didn't ask her at any time during the interview if she wanted counsel present, correct?
I did. I told her partway through the interview, her mother, Lisa Darden, came to the home and she made a statement about whether or not Kouri should talk to us without, she said the word Sky, the name Sky. I assumed that that was an attorney that she had contacted. And at that time, I told her, if you would rather have an attorney present here while we talk, that's fine. And she declined.
Let me show you just a portion of that interview. Hopefully, if you can give me that. Page 215. Can we show this on the screen to the witness? Thank you. If I could direct you, Detective, to the very bottom of that page as your statement at the bottom of that page. If you could just repeat that, not read it out loud, if you could repeat that. Now that statement was made as you were leaving the house, correct?
It appears so, yes.
And do you recall that statement that you made to Ms. Richins as you were leaving the house?
Yes.
And what was it you told her?
This is her new lawyer. She had her old lawyer, who I really liked. She withdrew because of certain conflicts. So this is a public defender, but I think she's doing a good job. Not sleepy yet. I'm just following along what's happening with the Karen Reed thing. It's not her dealer, it's her employee's dealer.
For that?
I'm sorry, I don't understand the question.
What was it you told her as you were leaving the house, reflected in that statement?
In this statement,
Yes.
that she could have an attorney present while we talk. I'm guessing that's what you're getting at.
Well, but you finished talking for that day, correct?
I believe so.
This was in fact the very end of the transcript that you were walking out of the house, correct?
It looks like it.
And you told her if she wanted an attorney at future interviews, that would be fine.
Yes.
Does that, we'll start that. Isn't it true, Detective, that that is the only time that you told Ms. Richins that she could have an attorney present when being interviewed, if she wished to?
I recall making that statement midway through the conversation. If it's not in the recording, then I didn't.
All right.
But I do remember making the statement that we were happy to have an attorney present while we spoke to her.
At least as you were leaving.
Yes.
So let's talk about some of the investigation and interviews you did prior to Ms. Richins' arrest. As part of your investigation, is it true, isn't it true, that you looked into Kouri's relationship with a Mr. Grossman?
Yes, some other investigators, I wasn't directly involved with contacting Mr. Grossman, but yes.
And that is someone that you have referred to, or I don't know if you personally, but has been referred to in transcripts as Ms. Richins' paramour, correct?
Correct.
And you reviewed texts between Ms. Richins and this individual, isn't that correct?
Correct.
Did you also investigate the texts between Eric Richins and the women that he'd been having affairs with during that period of time?
I didn't personally, I don't know that any of our investigators did.
Have you ever reviewed any texts or calls between Eric Richins and women that he was having affairs with prior to this?
Objection, Your Honor, that seems fast. It's also beyond the scope of the past.
So the first part of that objection is overruled. The second part, though, I'm not sure how this has an impact on the probable cause determination or will need to make.
Well, Your Honor, I believe that the fact that nobody was investigated other than Ms. Richins is relevant. And this would be a potential alternative suspect that there was
Certainly
no
a
investigation.
trial, Ms. Lewis, I understand, but preliminary hearings are not supposed to be a discovery tool. The irrelevance objection is sustained.
So,
I haven't heard
Detective,
anything
are
about
you
that.
familiar with someone by the name of Carmen? I believe it's Lauber, is that how it's pronounced?
Yes.
And how are you familiar with her?
She became a person of interest in this case at one point when detectives started investigating associations and contacts of both Kouri and Eric Richins. Investigators from our office were familiar with her background in having a criminal drug history, and she became the target of a separate investigation as she related to Ms. Richins.
Could you maybe just explain that for me a little more? How was she a target related to the Richins case?
Text messages were located in the defendant's phone from a phone number that was found to belong to Carmen Lauber. At that time, detectives started looking into Carmen Lauber and her activity. They found that she was on a drug court program in another county and started investigating her as related to Ms. Richins, having worked with her and having cleaned houses for both her business, her realty business, as well as her personal home.
So just to clarify, Ms. Lauber did cleaning for Ms. Richins' business and in the Richins' household. Did I have that straight?
Correct.
All right. And did you execute a search warrant, or was a search warrant executed on Ms. Lauber's home?
Yes.
Were you present for that?
Yes.
And were there items, illegal items seized during that time?
Yes.
Was she arrested at that time?
Yes.
Do you recall when that was?
I believe it was towards the end of April 2023. I don't know an exact date.
So after Ms. Lauber's arrest, did you interview her?
Yes.
times have you interviewed her since April of 2023? You or others associated with this investigation? Clarify.
I believe 4 official planned interviews.
What about unplanned, unofficial interviews?
I've spoken with her, but not in an interview setting. That's what I'm getting at. Interviewing her in connection with this case, there were 4 that I'm aware of.
Do you know how many hours you spent interviewing her or others associated with this case?
I believe at the detention hearing, I testified that it was around 10. I believe that's accurate.
So when did you initially interview Ms. Lawler?
It would have been, I believe, April 26th, shortly after her arrest, maybe the day or 2 after her arrest.
All right. And during that initial interview, can you tell me what took place during that interview?
We spoke to Ms. Lauber about the items that were found in her home subject to the search warrant. We told her that the charges that she was facing, that she was on drug court probation for in the outside county, could continue to be charged against her due to a violation of her drug court. We told her that she was facing felony distribution charges in that case.
Can I interrupt for 1 second? Distribution of what?
Controlled substance.
What did you seize from her home?
So the charges that she was facing in relation to her drug court were separate from the ones that resulted from the search warrant. But we found illicit THC products as well as a firearm in her home.
And why was the firearm of significance?
It was a violation of her drug court probation to be in possession of a firearm.
Well, she was a convicted felon, isn't that right?
Yes, that's also pertinent.
So she was also potentially looking at charges of felon in possession of a firearm, correct?
Correct.
And you told her that in the first interview?
Correct.
Did you tell her that those would be state or federal charges?
I believe we told her that they could be both.
They could be both, or either.
Either, right?
Did you tell her potentially how much time she could be looking at in prison if she was charged and convicted of these additional offenses?
I don't recall saying a specific number of days, but I know we made mention that there was significant jail time attached to those charges.
Significant prison time.
Prison time.
All right, so what did she tell you in that first interview about her associations with Kouri Richins?
She confirmed that she had worked for Kouri in the past. She told us that she knew Kouri through Kouri's Aunt Doreen, whom Carmen worked for, cleaning houses. She initially stated that she didn't know anything about what had happened with Eric's death or anything about fentanyl. And we explained to her that the position that we were in to try to investigate anything that might have happened, whether that was inculpatory or exculpatory for anyone, and that any information that she might have about it would be helpful to us.
All right, if we just break that down just a little bit, what did she tell you about ever dealing fentanyl at that time?
She said that she hadn't really ever, in her words, messed with fentanyl. Then she later admitted she had tried it once and didn't have a good experience with it.
Did she tell you a daughter had overdosed on fentanyl?
I don't recall. I could review the video and give you an answer on that, but I don't recall.
And isn't it true she told you she never dealt with fentanyl, that she dealt in pain pills and marijuana and other things of that sort?
In the first interview, yes.
And what did you tell her you could do for her if she gave you information about Eric Richins' death or anything that could help you in the investigation of Eric Richins' death?
We explained to her that if she had information regarding Eric Richins' death, that we could work with the prosecutor who was responsible for her charges for both the search warrant and the drug court charges.
I hate this. If you'll rat on someone else, we'll let your offenses slide.
Yep.
So it's kind of like Paul O'Keefe believing Karen Reed did it because she has a monetary reason.
Well, she has a big reason to start
Yeah,
talking. So.
if I'm going down for felony pew possession and other drug-related offenses with my prior history, I'll probably look at more than a week in prison, even in Denmark. I could tell you all kinds of stories. Do you, by the way, have you heard that one about Brandon and his trip to Tijuana?
No,
If
do tell.
you let me slide on a few criminal cases, I'll tell you.
Okay, sure. Let's do it.
We didn't make her any specific promises, but we told her that we were willing to work with the prosecutor's office on those charges.
We didn't promise you anything, but we told you you'll get out of jail free card if you just sing. I hate the American justice system when they are allowed to do this.
Is Ms. Lover in custody at this time? Is she in jail?
No.
All right, was she ever charged with anything that was to do with dealing drugs, a violation of her drug court, or with anything that was seized during that search?
I don't know. I don't believe so. I had no dealings with the
I didn't say you were arrested. I said if Jamie can help me get out of prison, I'll tell the true story of what happened.
inner workings of that county
Let's just say El Burro was never the same again.
prosecutor's office after we interviewed Ms. Lauber. After we interviewed Ms. Lauber, we informed the prosecutor's office that she was being cooperative with our investigation, and then they and her attorneys worked out whatever kind of deal they worked out with her.
Well, isn't it true, Detective, that you went back and spoke with Ms. Lauber and guaranteed her that she would not be charged in any way as connected to Eric Richins' death if she continued to cooperate?
I didn't make that statement in those words, but we impressed upon her that, yes, in exchange for helpful information in this case, that she could potentially have reduced or eliminated charges.
Well, I'm going to jump ahead a little bit because I know you had a number of interviews with her, and I've certainly reviewed at least 6. Because those interviews were recorded, correct?
Correct.
And any interview that you had with her would be turned over to defense counsel, correct?
Correct.
All right.
Well, we turn it over to the state, and I believe it's their
All right.
opportunity to turn it over to the defense.
So if I represented that they have turned over at this time 6 interviews with yourself and Ms. Lauber, or with, who was the other detective, I'm sorry, that was with you during those interviews?
Detective Maynard.
That they've turned over 6 at this time. Would that sound correct to you?
Yes.
All right. So I want to go to the 6th interview, which was made.
This is today's hearing. It's delayed and on an hour delay. So this is from today. It started late and the judge ordered an hour delay on it. Audio is absolutely craptastic, but we're here.
13th of 2023. Does that sound right?
Yes.
So isn't it true at that interview, you told her that she was going to be testifying in front of a federal grand jury?
I don't recall that.
Yarkis?
Am I in the video that you're referencing?
Yes, you are.
I don't recall that.
So you don't recall that you told her that you and Detective Maynard had had discussions with the U.S. Attorney's Office and that they had guaranteed you that she would not be charged in connection with Eric's death so long as she testified in front of the grand jury.
I don't remember it, but it doesn't sound unreasonable.
You're the lead detective, right?
Yes.
Did Ms. Lauer testify in front of the federal grand jury regarding this case?
I don't believe so.
You don't believe so. Do you know? Yes or no?
I don't know for a fact.
You don't know. Did you testify in front of a federal grand jury regarding this matter?
No.
Do you know of anyone in your investigation that testified before a federal grand jury?
No.
But you do recall telling her that she would be testifying before a federal grand jury the next week.
I honestly don't remember it. I'm not surprised by the information because when we were working with prosecutors' offices at the time, there were both federal prosecutors and state prosecutors that were involved in it. And that sounds like a likely discussion that could have been made that she would need to testify before a grand jury.
The next week.
Like I said, I don't remember those. If I review the video, I probably could speak to it more.
Did you review an interview that Detective Maynard did with Carmen Lauber on the day before that, May 12th, regarding a Zoom meeting he had had with different agencies, in this case, federal and state?
I believe so.
And do you recall in that he explained to her what she would be doing in terms of testifying in front of a grand jury?
Again, I don't recall the discussion about the grand jury. If I review the video, I can speak to it more, but I just don't recall it from my memory.
All right, do you
I
recall?
don't believe that video is one that I have recently reviewed. I reviewed the initial 3 or 4 that we had with Carmen prior to this hearing.
All right, we'll go back to those in just a minute. Let me ask if you recall this. Do you recall telling her on May 13th that she would be testifying in front of the grand jury and the goal would be to convict Kouri Richins of murder? Do you recall that?
No, I do not.
Ms. Lauber got a letter of immunity from the United States Attorney's Office for the District of Utah, did she not?
I believe so, yes.
But you don't know if she testified in front of the grand jury.
I do not.
So tell me the first interview. I'm gonna go back now to that initial interview in April 2020 or April 27th, 2023.
Okay.
How did that interview end?
Can you tell me the date again? April 27th, the first time we
Yes, the
spoke.
very first time you interviewed her.
We told her that she probably had some things to think on and consider, and that if she decided she wanted to talk to us about this case, that she could contact us, or that we would be in contact with her again shortly.
Yes. So did you tell her you'd be back in a few days after she had some time to think about what had happened?
Yes.
And did you go back in a few days?
Yes.
No, because today is the hearing to determine if we will have a case. Right, Jesse? So we can't tell now. We don't even know if it will be a case. This is a police officer. I think I'm always surprised when they don't watch their files and stuff like that beforehand.
Do you recall the date that you went back?
I believe it was the following Tuesday.
So if I told you that was May 2nd, 2023, would you have any reason
Sounds
to?
accurate, yes.
Sorry, I don't mean to talk over each other. Go ahead.
That sounds accurate, yes.
All right. So the second interview. What did you tell Ms. Lover in that interview?
We told her a lot of things. Do you want to talk about something specific?
All right. Did you ask her if she had time to reconsider her relationship or her activities with Ms. Richins?
I believe so. When we first sat down, and she entered the interview room, she immediately started telling us that she had been thinking about calling us and wanted to talk to us.
All right. And you reminded her that she was looking at serious charges and you guys would have her back. You would help her if she cooperated.
Yes.
Had you seized a phone, excuse me, a phone from Ms. Lover at that time?
Yes.
Was there more than one, or did you seize one?
There was more than one. There were two, I believe, that we relied on for evidence and content. There were multiple old phones, I believe, that were seized from her home, but the two that we downloaded and were subject to our investigation, there were two.
Were either of those phones, excuse me, were either of those phones ones that she was using in March of 2022?
I believe so, yes.
I think one of them was. All right. So what did she tell you in that second interview about communications between herself and Ms. Richins that she thought might be helpful to you? Sorry.
In most, if not all, of the interviews that we had with Carmen, her memory went back.
Did you see her Tumblr, Jamie?
Oh, yeah.
Did you get a little Tumblr envy?
Did I?
Yeah.
No.
I thought you couldn't see a Tumblr without wanting it.
Those are the. I have a bunch of those. I mean, I want them all. Don't get me wrong.
Forth on what happened, what didn't happen, and which times those things happened. So chronologically, it's hard to say where we went in the interview. But she began very slowly, and it appeared to us that she was minimizing her involvement, but said that she had participated in some way in getting Kouri illicit substances. And like I said, it began small and her minimizing her involvement and developed into more specific statements.
And these statements took place over the course of 3 or 4 additional interviews.
Correct.
Your Honor, the state objects on relevant grounds. As the court's aware, Ms. Lauber submitted testimony by 1102 witness statement. And the standard for the preliminary hearing is notwithstanding credible testimony to the contrary. The court's also well aware that Article 1, Section 12 of our Constitution and progeny case law says that discovery is not a proper purpose for this hearing.
Well,
Oh, yeah, where are we headed here?
Well, Your Honor, Mr. Bloodworth had stated as we were at the beginning of the hearing that in large part he was putting Detective O'Driscoll on in the interest of fairness and justice because Ms. Richins' current counsel had never had the opportunity to cross-examine him on his prior testimony. And he testified in his prior testimony about these things. So my understanding was that this was our opportunity, since we haven't had one before, that what was agreed upon and represented in the court, to cross-examine him about that prior testimony, even though this is the preliminary hearing. And these facts
Her book has been pulled from the shelves. It was pulled immediately after she was arrested. It was actually, I think there was some kerfuffle about, there was 2 versions on Amazon or something. I can't remember. There was something going on, but it has been pulled, not out there anymore. Proceeds, well, she did write the book, so you can't really take anything from her. It's her book, but she can't be sued like we just read about with Karen Reed. She can be sued in civil court to let the money go to the kids, maybe.
very much go to probable cause.
It's the last part that I'm not following you on. How do these go to probable cause?
The book has nothing to do with her crime. It has to do with her kids missing their dad. So it has nothing to do with the crime. And again, if I did it.
I don't think I've heard anything that sounds like testimony that Carmen Lauber did not have the opportunity to perceive or know the things that she claims to have perceived or known. I don't get to weigh credibility outside of those extraordinary circumstances at a preliminary hearing. I'm trying to give you as much latitude as the state will agree to when I'm staying out of the way, but at some point, the limits on probable cause determination kick in.
All right, well, based on the earlier discussion with the court, I'd like to go a little farther in terms of reviewing his testimony from the prior hearing.
Understood. If you need clarification of it, but if I imagine, don't hold me to this, but I imagine that if we keep reviewing the investigative steps and potential sources of bias on Ms. Lauber, you're going to continue drawing objections regarding relevance.
I understand.
We'll give Ms. Lewis some additional limited latitude here, Mr. Bloodworth. Let's see where we go.
So when you testified before, did you testify as to how many times Ms. Lauber had allegedly provided drugs to Ms. Richins?
I believe so, yes.
And how many times did you say that happened?
At that time,
Yeah, and he wrote the book later. But again, she has to be sued for the proceeds because, again, it wasn't like she did it and wrote about it. She's just writing about how her kids miss having their dad around and how he's still with them from heaven. She didn't write, hey, the kids really, really, really missed you yesterday. I shouldn't have unalived you.
Yeah. It was how to deal with grief or something like that. Like how to
Yeah.
have your kids.
It's more
deal
like
with
a self-help books for kids kind of thing to understand that your kids can be vulnerable when their dad gets a Moscow Mule. I never had a
Yeah.
Moscow Mule.
I have. They're actually pretty tasty.
Yeah. That's because I know they're served from copper cups,
Yeah.
and
it's-
this happened, and another streamer I know who got into some trouble drank from a copper cup. Just saying.
of testimony, we understood there to be 3 transactions that Ms. Lauber participated in with Ms. Richins.
And what were the dates of those 3 transactions?
February 11th, February 26th.
What?
Of 2022.
March 9th, after Mr. Richins had passed away.
Correct.
Right. And did you testify at the prior hearing, or do you recall what Ms. Lauber said she provided to Ms. Richins, what sort of drugs she provided to Ms. Richins on those 3 occasions?
Again, it went back and forth with details and was clarified the more information she was presented with from phones and other physical evidence. The determination we came to after conclusion of all 4 interviews was that she had procured some type of prescription or non-prescription opiate on the first transaction, and that the following 2 were fentanyl pills, counterfeit fentanyl pills.
And so you said that in the first interview, she told you that she didn't deal in fentanyl. Can you just explain what you did in your investigation to try and confirm? How did you come back around to that it was fentanyl?
So in the initial interview with Ms. Lauber, and the statements she made about not having dealt in fentanyl before, in my opinion, my experience with interviewing people, especially in custody, I think she was minimizing her involvement. I think she was trying to cover herself from any type of further legal problems. And then after we came back the second time, I think she had changed her mind about how much information she wanted to reveal to us. And that's when she started talking to us about the fentanyl pills, and that she recalled specifically that they were fentanyl.
And did you interview other people regarding those transactions?
Investigators from the Summit County Sheriff's Office did, yes. I wasn't involved in every single interview, but yes.
Did she tell you how many pills total that she provided to Ms. Richins, or that she recalled providing?
One moment, please. please. Mr. Ludwig.
Your Honor, the state reduces relevance.
I'm not nodding off. I'm texting with Runkle. So that's why.
Objection. What,
If I nod off, you'll hear this sound.
what's going on here is the defense counsel is asking questions about the detention hearing, which the defense counsel has a transcript of. Did she tell you this? Well, we know this because he testified to it.
Let's just assume that this question, which goes directly to the probable cause determination, is foundation for whatever's coming next. So I'm going to allow this.
I appreciate it, Your Honor. All these recordings are, all these interviews are recorded in discovery and can be.
I understand. Your objection to the extent it's to relevance is overruled. Ms. Lewis, please proceed.
Did she tell you a number of pills, the number of pills she provided to Ms. Richins?
Are you meaning in total or per transaction?
Either way, whatever is easiest for you to
She
explain.
made an estimate of approximately 15 to 30 pills per transaction.
So a total,
An estimated number of 15 to 30. That's quite a big difference. That's 50% off.
Yeah.
Again,
of
Maximum of
75, 30 to 90s,
30 to 90.
45 to 90 pills. All right. Did you, have any of those pills ever been found?
No.
None in the Richins' home?
No.
Correct? None in Ms. Richins' car, correct?
No.
So you've never had the opportunity to test any pills that were allegedly provided from Ms. Lauber to Ms. Richins, is that correct?
Correct.
Not one, correct?
Correct.
So the only knowledge you have as to what those pills were came from Ms. Lauber, correct?
And corroborating witnesses.
Corroborating witnesses that,
That supplied Ms. Lauber with the pills or put her in contact with the person that supplied her the pills.
all right,
Or drove her to the transactions where the pills were purchased.
okay. Again, though, have you tested any of those pills or found any of those pills so they could be tested?
No, we haven't.
So you actually do not have any idea what the pills were that were given to Ms. Richins, correct?
Just based on the testimony, witness statements by Ms. Lauber and others.
But you don't know.
I don't know.
So you don't know if the pills were Oxycontin, correct?
No, I do not.
You don't know if the pills were fentanyl, correct?
Based on what Ms. Lauber told us, she was sure that they were fentanyl. And her description of them match what I know currently to be Drug Trends street illicit fentanyl pills, with the description being a light green to blue round pill.
So let me ask you again. Do you know if any of those pills contain fentanyl?
No, I do not.
Do you know if these pills contained illegal drugs, opioids of any kind?
I do not.
When is the last time you sought evidence in this case?
Sought evidence, is that what you said?
Yes.
The case is active and ongoing until trial. I presume any new information that comes to us will continue to be considered as evidence.
Are you still interviewing witnesses?
Not at this moment, no.
I know you're not at this moment, but you're testifying. Have you recently interviewed witnesses or others investigating this case or involved in this case been interviewing witnesses?
Yes.
especially for a public defender. I like her.
Some of our team have reached out to witnesses that we've talked to in the past and have kept in contact with them.
Have you been provided statements or interviews by a private investigator in this matter?
They've been entered into systems that I have access to, yes. Not personally been provided with them, but yes.
Who's that private investigator work for?
The Richins family, the Eugene Richins family.
Is that who pays this private investigator to provide information to you?
I assume so.
When was the last time you executed a search warrant in this case?
I believe it was 1 or 2 weeks ago on the Richins home.
Still looking for the pills?
That was to seize a voice recorder that was located in the home.
Alright. Just give me one moment. Just back up for one moment about the pills. So you said you interviewed other people. I think it was one other person who provided allegedly fentanyl to Ms. Lover. Is that correct?
There were 2 individuals that we interviewed that were reported to have provided Ms. Lauber with the pills. One with the non-fentanyl opiates and then with the fentanyl pills.
Okay, so one provided the one that did not have fentanyl, and one provided the ones that she claimed did have fentanyl.
Correct.
Okay, so that individual, or actually either of those individuals, were they manufacturers of those pills?
I don't know. I don't believe so.
Well, one of them told you it was for prescription, correct?
I believe Ms. Lauber told us that. Would you like me to use names?
That's fine.
I believe Ms. Lauber told us that Ms. Kohler, who she claimed she got the non-fentanyl pills from, that they were somebody's personal prescription.
Okay. So we don't actually know when those pills came provided?
No.
All right. And the individual who provided fentanyl, he was not the manufacturer of fentanyl. He told you he didn't manufacture fentanyl, correct?
I believe so. Other detectives in our office, yeah, interviewed him.
All right. Do you know what red devils are?
No, I did not.
Did you record all of your conversations with Ms. Lover, or if someone else was interviewing them, were they all recorded?
Interviews, yes. We've yes.
Besides Kouri Richins, did you interview or investigate into any other possible suspects in this case?
Interview, no. I personally try to keep an open mind as to all possibilities of what could have caused Eric Richins' death. But I didn't conduct interviews with any other suspects that were persons of interest labeled as suspects.
You didn't collect phones or look at anything else from the other suspects, correct?
We collected several phones from involved individuals in this case, and potentially people that could have had access to the Richins' home at different times. That could give alternate explanations of how the fentanyl got in the system. But I didn't conduct any interviews of individuals regarding their involvement.
No.
Mr. Letter, rescheduling question. Roughly how much time do you have on redirect?
Less than 10 minutes.
Okay, please proceed.
Come on now.
Yes. Wait, get some more water.
John, I've marked the State's Exhibit 68, Utah Bureau of Forensic Services forensic analysis report related to the collection of THC gummies. I'm gonna, Coach.
Of course. Ms. Lewis.
I just can't hear Mr. Bloodworth.
Okay.
So I'm
I'm
Say
sorry.
it a
sorry.
little closer to that mic.
I'm hoarse from our
So am I.
evidentiary
Obviously.
argument this morning.
Oh, yeah, well,
And then use the microphone. You.
I'll try to talk into the microphone, yeah.
Thank you. I don't like
Is
this
that
guy.
so hard? Is that so hard?
No, and I don't like his mannerisms. I don't like his tone. I bet you he'll be one of those. He'll be a Lally type.
Yeah.
He will be just the same. That smug auntie type.
Detective O'Driscoll, do you recognize what's been marked as State's Exhibit for Identification 68?
Yes,
You testified earlier regarding toxicology on some THC gummies. Do you recall that?
yes,
Does that toxicology report reference the THC gummies that you were testifying to?
it appears to, yes.
And then are you familiar with the difference in toxicology reports between fentanyl being indicated and fentanyl being found?
Yes, I'm remembering discussions with our evidence technicians, our forensic technicians, and that there's a difference there that I didn't know before.
I mean, what was the bottom line of that discussion with the evidence technician?
The bottom line was that something could be tested and indicate for precursors or some chemical structure that I don't fully understand that could indicate possibilities of fentanyl, but the state crime lab won't say for certain that fentanyl is present.
And in that instance, the reports read as that one does, am I right? Fentanyl indicated, not identified.
Correct, it says fentanyl was indicated in the gummies in the plastic bag.
And actually, this, John, it's the,
Was it indicated with the gummies or not indicated?
not identified.
Correct, it says fentanyl was indicated in the gummies in the plastic bag.
I can't get that. Wasn't or was it?
And actually, this, John, it's statement states 68 in the evidence.
Ms. Lewis, any objection?
no objections under the same considerations of all the exhibits. in this
It'll
hearing.
be admitted for the purpose of the preliminary hearing.
Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, the state directs the court to item 14, which begins on the bottom of page 2 and continues to the top of page 3.
Thank you.
Detective O'Driscoll, you testified on cross-examination regarding interviews with Carmen Mulder. Remember that?
Yes,
Are all those interviews either audio recorded, video recorded?
Yeah, that's the thing I heard too, and that's because the gummies were weed gummies, right?
Yeah, that's what I thought it was.
So really wish audio was better.
Sorry, audio recorded or audio and video recorded?
yes,
And to the extent your testimony recollecting back over a year would differ from the reportings, do you think the reporting is the accurate testimony?
I do. I sympathize with Ms. Lauder at this point, having been a year past the last time we talked about this.
Sure. Did you have an opportunity to watch a video recording of an assistant U.S. attorney and some federal investigators interviewing Ms. Lauber?
I didn't view it, but I was told about it.
Were you told that they were interviewing her kind of pursuant to a grand jury subpoena and before the grand jury testimony?
Yes, I'm remembering now that their appearance there, their interview of her was in regard to a grand jury subpoena that at the time we were not aware that they were planning.
Regarding Ms. Lauber's testimony, or sorry, Ms. Lauber's interview with you and detective.
Sue, it's Britain. Never. It depends on, do you want it cold, wet, semi-cold, wet, windy, cold, wet, or maybe snow? That's the 4 options you have in Britain.
I want to perhaps clarify some of the transactions. Is it right to say that Ms. Lauber testified to one transaction with Susan Kohler involving Roxy's,
Yes,
and then a transaction involved?
It depends on if you take weed and meth, which has 2 very different things. Yes. If you smoke skunk and weed, it's probably a little harder to determine. Opioids is opioids. They don't say this is the one, this is the one, this is the one. They'll just find out how much you have in your system. But you can determine if it's different kinds of drugs, but you can't say, well, he had some of that good Kush and then some bad of that black Moroccan. That's weed, Jamie.
Fentanyl on February the 11th, the second fentanyl on February the 26th, and the third on March 9th.
yes,
Regarding the fentanyl portions of the conversation, separate than the Roxy portions of the conversation, did detectives from Summit County talk with the intermediary between Carmen Lauber and the ultimate fentanyl dealer to Ms. Lauber?
yes,
And did that intermediary say that Ms. Lauber requested fentanyl?
yes,
Did Summit County detectives talk with the man who distributed the fentanyl to Ms. Lauber?
yes,
And did he say that she requested fentanyl?
yes,
And that he ultimately provided fentanyl?
yes.
If they had those pills with him, they would be able to try and match it because there would be the same trace elements depending on the mixture you use, because it's just not straight fentanyl. You'll have some other ingredients in there. So yes, you would be able to do that probably if you have some non-dissolved pills in his stomach or digestive tract. You can go look at that, but you can say, okay, it's fentanyl. This is fentanyl. It's found right next to his body. Let's assume.
Thank you. Nothing further.
Boom, 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 boom.
Report.
Keep it in the scope of reprint, please.
Yes, understood. You said that all interviews with Ms. Lauber were recorded, correct?
For sure, all the ones that I was involved in, yes.
All right. So does that mean that there have been meetings and discussions with her, with Ms. Lauber and either yourself or other people, the Summit County sheriffs, office or the prosecution not recorded?
Not that we're substituting in content in regards to the case. We have on occasion spoken with Ms. Lauber because she was placed on supervised probation by an out-of-county court. And was to be under ankle monitor that was supervised by our department. So we have talked to her about compliance with those orders. We have also transported her, given her a ride to meetings with her attorney, and so there has been small talk, but not interview about the case that has not been reported.
You drive her to her meetings?
She needs a ride sometimes.
So you just, in discussing this with, in answering Mr. Bloodworth's questions, you said that Ms. Lauber provided fentanyl to Ms. Richins 3 times.
I know that Ms. Lauber had difficulty remembering all the details of her interactions with Ms. Richins. I know at the time that we conducted the interviews, what she had told us in those interviews is what I testified to at the detention hearing.
And that was that there was 1 time that was oxycodone and 2 times that she said she delivered fentanyl. Isn't that right?
Correct. Since those interviews, new forensic information from cell phones was received, was reviewed, and determined that there were 3 transactions involving fentanyl, including one after Eric Richins' death. I believe the most accurate statement from Ms. Lauber is the 1102 statement that she submitted for today's hearing.
All right. You said that you spoke with an individual who allegedly provided fentanyl to Ms. Lauber, and you just testified that he told you she asked specifically for fentanyl. That's not accurate though, correct?
He told, from what I'm remembering from watching the video of the other investigators that interviewed him, he told us that Ms. Lauber requested, in his words, blues, which I understand to be fentanyl pills.
Didn't he say she requested Roxy 30s or Roxy's?
It's possible. I think blues was also mentioned.
Roxy's are typically oxycodone, correct?
Yes.
So as you're sitting here today, Detective, can you say with certainty that the pills that Ms. Lauber allegedly gave to Ms. Richins were the pills that were taken by Eric Richins, or the pills that were taken, if any pills were taken, by Eric Richins?
No.
And as you sit here right now, do you have any idea, like actual knowledge, not an idea, let me rephrase that, do you have any knowledge of how fentanyl got into Mr. Richins' system?
No.
Mr. Richins' system? I'm sorry.
No.
I
Anything further for the detective, Mr. Glover?
No, no.
You can step down, sir. Thank you. Mr. Glover, it's now appropriate time to take lunch break.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Lewis, any objection?
No.
All right, come back at 1:30, send supper.
Back at 1:30.
We will be
Now I have
What'd you
to
say?
math. He said back at 1:30. So
Oh.
I now have to math. 1:30 is plus
That's
8 hours.
4:30 our time. Like my
So that'll be 10:30 my time. Hey everyone, we'll do
But
the
if they go live at 1:30, is it still going to be an hour delay? So another hour onto that?
yeah.
Ugh.
So that'll be 11:30.
This-
We will do the afternoon. Your internet is really crappy today, Jamie.
It's me. I'm
We'll-
pushing buttons.
We are doing the afternoon tomorrow before trial starts in whatever. Utah's funny.
Yeah.
So We'll do it in the morning because I have to take my car in for service tomorrow at 7:30. So I will have to get out of bed in 8 hours. Everyone, thank you so much for showing up. Sorry, it was a whole lot of nothing, and we talked more Karen Reed today than we talked the Kouri Richins trial. But I know you're there for it, and you live it. So I'm gonna chuck you over here. I'm gonna chuck you where I'm gonna chuck you. I'm gonna chuck you somewhere else. Put some donuts in chat and say Baker says hi. And everything is. I don't know. We'll do this one. Put some donuts in chat when you arrive. We will be back tomorrow. I'll figure out some kind of time that adds up with the afternoon show. You will rewatch. I bet you. I know Aiden has been covering it live. The lawyer you know will cover it. Burkhardt would cover it. The reason why I was texting Ronkel was he didn't have the documents. So I was offering him them. He will go live later. Karen will be covered. I will try to see if I'm not good at all the technical stuff to find some of the testimony bits and see if I can make them fit, because again, that lawsuit seemed like it was written to fit a certain horse-faced woman's testimony and absolutely had nothing to do with what was presented in case. Keep it moist, anime. And hopefully we can get some better audio when we watch it on delay. Jamie, as always, muchos gracias. That is a lot of gracias in Spanish, Jamie.
A lot of gracias.
What exhibit are you referring to?
I'm going to make this 100, Your Honor.
All right.
100.
100.
Because it is 100%
100%.
correct.
So you literally built a cannon?
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
All right, I'm in love.
Go back. Please do that again. Oh, that was the cutest thing I've ever seen.
While I'm waiting for this, did you, whether it's true or not, believe that Mr. Randolph had slept with your wife?
I wouldn't care.
You wouldn't have cared?
No,
Did you believe he had slept with your wife?
no,
Did you believe he slept with your mother-in-law?
probably did. Everybody has.
So there.
Everybody has.
Your Honor, I apologize.
What exhibit are you referring to?
I'm going to make this 100, Your Honor.
All right.
100. Because it is 100% correct.